Welcome to Caveman Podcast, episode 5, I believe. We are on episode 5.
I mean, it says 4.
It does say 4. I haven't updated this. Forgive me. We're going to get right into it, but before we do, we're going to start off with Nate's deepest and darkest secret. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, my deepest and darkest secret.
No, we're actually going to start off with prayer, and then his deepest and darkest secret.
So we're going to pray that... Never mind, go ahead.
All right, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the gift of this brotherhood, these men, and the story that you're weaving in and out of their lives. Jesus, we pray for your forgiveness, for our forgiveness, for each and every sin that we have, knowingly or unknowingly, that would hinder us, Father, in this moment from communing with you. And we ask, Holy Spirit, would you come and partake with us in this conversation tonight. May it be edifying to our lives and glorifying to you, Jesus. We love you and pray this in your holy name. Amen.
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 Awesome.
So, Dusty, when did you first realize you were attracted to men?
Let's just cut it there.
Start it hot.
I'll see y'all next time.
Oh, I love it.
Let me know when the next podcast is so I can be busy.
Well, let's just start it off this way. For all those who do not know you guys have some similarities, right? We have both of y'all on the podcast at the same time. I think it's going to be a great podcast, really a lot of fun. What is that similarity for the audience
They
out
have
there?
beards.
Incredibly handsome.
Incredibly. The less obvious similarity that they may not know about.
We're
they're
both fathers to 3 boys
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize that one.
for another 2 months.
For another 2 months.
Yeah,
And then I'm
until-
gonna
he's
One
about to
up
be
him.
one up on me.
That's right. Wow. I didn't think about that.
which is
Concede.
weird. How are you having kids? Sorry.
Yeah, hey, it's 2025. Men can have kids
yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Recurring
No,
theme.
Dusty is happily married to
Yeah.
a wonderful woman.
Would-
Yeah,
Would
so
y'all
you-
say
are
the
you-
thing that I want you to say
you
and quit
alluding
talking about
to
all the other things?
The occupation.
I am alluding to the occupation, yes. Maybe I just tell them about your occupation, dang it.
I tell everybody I'm a lot of things before what my occupation is.
Well, I guess all I'm saying is
yeah.
that brought a kindred spirit to you guys. It kind of
For
brought
sure.
y'all together in a way.
It really did.
Um,
yeah, it really
and,
did. So we're both physicians.
Yeah.
Actually, both the same kind of physicians.
Which is cool.
Internal medicine.
Yeah. And osteopathic.
Yep. Osteopathic, internal medicine physicians.
Yeah.
Bring it a little bit closer. Just a little bit. I did that the whole first
he
podcast.
Keep
tried.
sneaking away.
I know.
This one,
I know.
this one likes to run.
And then you guys got connected through the Caveman, but also through that kind of occupation relationship
That's
in a way,
actually
right?
a really good question. Did y'all first meet via
Here.
Caveman?
Yeah. So the second caveman, you had done the first. The second was my first one. And so I show up and I think you're giving introduction to it. Yeah, because you were competing. So you're giving introduction and you're like, all right, and by
You
the
were
way,
on my
guys,
team, bro.
I know. By the way, it's been a while since you've been in the game, so
I
it's
know.
just hard for me to
I
keep
know.
up.
I'm sorry. That's
That's
tough.
like 3 Cavemans ago.
I'm in this next year. Though. I already told him. I said I'm competing. I don't care what we do. I'm
Good.
competing.
I think I'm in too. But yeah.
So as Daniel's introducing everything and kind of laying it all out, like, by the way, in case anyone gets hurt, we do have a physician here. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, who freaking told these guys that I was a doctor? Dusty Johnston. I said, thank you, Jesus. Yes. They don't know that I'm a doctor.
Yes.
But it was also crazy, because we weren't on the same team.
Right.
But I was a captain that year, but just randomly drafted all guys from the church. It was
Right.
literally me and just a bunch of guys from the church, including Mr. Phillip over there. But then it was I think it was Sunday. It was the very end, and someone was
Yeah.
like, there's another
By the way,
osteopathic
you should meet this guy.
physician here, and I was like, and so
What are the
we
odds?
ended up talking. I don't know, we talked 20, 30 minutes.
Well, it's not just. I mean, it's not just y'all's occupation. It's the way you think inside of your occupation, which is the most interesting thing to me. You think a lot alike, and there's not a lot of you guys out there. Right. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you.
Before going
would
too
agree
far
with
down the
yeah, we don't have
occupation
enough time.
route,
Yeah.
For
the
all.
the
Yeah. Sorry.
did you guys ever meet each other in the Ring of Fire? Year one
Never.
or two? Or
Nope.
sorry, 2 or 3? No.
We couldn't because they couldn't get hurt at the same time.
That makes sense.
Right, like one of them had to take care of the other
That makes
people.
sense.
Yeah. No, the only thing I think would be, not this past year, but the year before, is I beat whoever beat Nate. So, I mean, take that for whatever.
Oh, yeah.
However you wanna take that.
Actually, you didn't. He beat you. He was your own teammate. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you lose to?
Yeah, he did. He lost to the
Whatever his name was.
CrossFit maniac.
I want to say his name was Nate.
Yeah.
No.
No, it was not. God, what is his name? That's so bad.
Nick.
We're
Can-
sorry.
You should
Can I
know
say that?
he was on
We're
your
sorry.
team.
Don't ask me a question like that.
Can I say though?
I can recognize a face.
Can I say though, the moment that I knew that I needed to get to know him was how you told me the story about him going through his training.
Yes.
I'm not going to get you to try to relive all of it, but essentially the amount of integrity and the grit that he had to show
Yeah.
to finish his training, and I was like, oh, this is my guy.
Yeah,
I've got to know him.
Well, I told you, I said when I knew we were going to be friends is when he called me and said, I think I'm going to need help getting a job. And I was like, you're going to be a doctor in 3 months. Like, what are you talking about? And then he kind of went that story, and I was like, yeah, we're going to be friends.
Yeah.
We can be friends. Like, if you're willing to hold that conviction, we're going to be friends. I don't know if I'm going to get you a job, but we can be friends.
All right, circle back to that real quick. What did you have to do?
I just said I
This
was
is
going to make him go through it.
I'll give the quick-
2020.
I'll give the quick version, but I do have to watch it with y'all guys. 'cause
You're
I've
not
actually-
going to, but Daniel's going to make him relive it.
I gotta watch how many conspiracy rabbit holes and all this kind of stuff I go
Dude,
in.
I
No,
had so many
we will
shirts.
check that. We will check those at the door.
I'll call Philip and ask him to edit out parts if we get to. I need to keep.
Why is this
stay
podcast so
employed.
choppy?
So in 2020, there was a mandatory thing that everyone had to do, that especially people in healthcare had to do. I was 3 months away from graduating residency, so I had done 4 years of medical school, ton of debt, all that kind of stuff. I did my first year of internship at one hospital, the next 2 at another hospital. Internal medicine, you have to have 2 years, full 2 years at one hospital. You can't go 1. So, bottom line, I had to finish that 3 months, or I would have to restart at least 2 years. I would be set back about 2 years. And there was a mandatory thing you had to do in 2020, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I told them I'm not going to do it. And they set me down a bunch of different times and basically said, you have to do it or you're going to be fired. And so I said, you sure you don't want to let me just slide for 3 months? Everything's fine, And they literally brought in, my program director and people from the board and basically said, yeah, you're done. I tried medical exemptions, all this kind of stuff, religious exemptions,
Calling in for sick for 3 months. You could have went that route.
Could have.
Just be sick for 3 months.
And the other crazy thing was I'd already signed to start at that same hospital. So they were literally threatening to fire me. They tried to fill that spot for 2 or 3 years. And so I called Caleb, and I think you called your dad, and he called another physician at the
We started
at the
making some
hospital.
phone calls.
And however it got back, I think maybe it was your dad was just like, don't worry about that. I'm like, well, I'm freaking worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So to paint the picture for you, if you don't finish residency, it dramatically limits your options
You
in
can't
terms of.
find a job. You can't
Exactly.
get employed by another residency. You can't,
Meanwhile, you're
I couldn't
$300,000,
be-
$400,000 in debt.
yeah. And I could just worked in
like the
urgent
last-
care or something like that.
But you would have been a very
Hole you have to go through,
overqualified
gate you
fast
have to go
food
through
restaurant
before you
guy.
can be successful.
Yeah, it dramatically limits your options.
Oh, it's tough. And so they basically set me down again, and I kind of told them to kick rocks. And, I said, sure, do whatever you want. I said, but every single newspaper, every single state representative who my family knows.
And one of my good friends has this Facebook, and he will talk about this. And
Dale Callahan is
and
not
it
shy.
usually gets a lot of people talking when he does.
But I basically told him to go ahead. And I never heard from him again. So,
Really?
Yeah.
You called their bluff. That's awesome.
He's stuck by his guns.
Yeah. And the funny thing was,
cojones.
back then, I didn't even from a medical perspective, that wasn't the reason I was saying no to it. I just didn't like being told what to do, you know. And
well, I
so
mean,
that
at
was
that
like,
point, no one really knew. It was just kind of forced.
Yeah, and then, you know, I feel like we keep getting proven more right every day since then. But
What? What? What's up
Philip,
with that?
edit that out.
Yeah. No, we haven't said the word yet, and please don't, because as long as we don't say the word, I think we don't get throttled.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody understands.
Yeah.
As soon as you say it, it's like red flag all over YouTube. The YouTube gods come down on you as soon as you say
for
it.
But I do appreciate that. I think the story sounds a whole lot better when you're telling it than
Yeah.
it did in the moment, you know, because all I was doing was just freaking out. So
Yeah, but hey, you freaked out in the right direction.
Okay, so there was a kid over at my house the other day, and he did not want to do the cold plunge, but my wife said, if you do the cold plunge, I will give you a cookie, pretty much.
Because this is the same thing. I see how you're getting that from what Dusty went through.
I told him, I was like, bro, he finally did it. I was super proud of him. And he said, I was so scared. And I said, bro, that is what courage is. Courage is not being scared. Yep. Courage is being terrified and doing the right thing anyway.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so kudos to you, man.
And he turns
You got the
31
cookie.
next week.
What's that?
He turns 31 next week. The guy that got the cookie.
Yeah. No, different guy. No, this was actually
but I appreciate it. Anyway. Yeah.
So Dusty's on. He's on the board at Caveman. So, what was your thoughts year one coming into it before we get to Nate? Because I want to ask Nate too. But like coming into it year one, everybody said year one was the craziest year. Like we had no idea what we were doing. We come into it with 24 guys. It's just like, let's get together and kill each other and see who makes it. Right. I mean, but what were you thinking coming into it?
I mean, I had been around y'all, you know, maybe for a year or I don't know, 2 years at that point. But I wasn't. I mean, anywhere close to y'all as I am now. So I really didn't know what to expect. But yes, it was just absolute insanity. I remember. And we all can say we're pretty competitive, but
Sure.
it's pretty competitive.
understand.
So I get on Daniel's brother's team, and like literally night one, 4 out of my 6 teammates are injured and like not there.
Gone.
Just immediately gone. There's like a shoulder dislocation. There was heat exhaustion. His brother was off having a seizure somewhere. I mean, it was just like it was literally. I think it was me and one other person. Maybe.
I was trying to put your doctor skills to the test.
But the funniest thing was, that was the first time I had met Matt, and I just remember just complaining nonstop to Matt. This is bullcrap, you know. I'm like,
You go like miss deal, like shuffle them up again.
yeah.
Let's,
I mean, I was just mad. I mean, the whole time because I was trying to be competitive, and so yeah. I mean, it was an absolute disaster. We were last place, like by a mile. It was not even close because it was literally
First
two
place in
guys.
dodgeball.
2 people versus 6.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
First place in dodgeball.
we were first
This
place in
guy's
dodgeball.
arm is
Oh,
incredible.
I've heard.
Although you had
I've
all
heard
6
tell.
players at that point too, didn't you, in dodgeball?
We did, but yeah, you could tell
They
that story.
quickly got out, from what I understand.
Red team. Were we red? Yeah, we were red team. We had 6 guys. We had all 6 guys, and we had gotten 5 of their guys out. And then this joker gets every single one of us out.
I love it. I
It was
love
impressive.
Awesome.
I love
was,
it.
So
it was
cool.
really
That
impressive.
was one of the moments in my life that felt like it was in slow motion. You know,
Right.
where I mean, my vision was clear. Like I mean, it was just
He was straight Vince Vaughn out there.
just laser beams. This whole team came out and
Rocking
You
it.
can dodge a wrench.
But the funniest thing of what I remember most vividly is after it was during dodgeball for you, but then it was like I remember Ryan came up to me after, but it was like all these guys came up and they were like, and I'd been hanging out with them for like 2 years, and they were like, "Where did that come from?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
You're an athlete?
You're athletic,
Dude,
And like
amen to that.
I've been what I felt like was sort of athletic my whole life, and I mean I didn't realize it was like hidden from y'all, you know. And then like literally Daniel's eyes were this big, you know.
We literally thought you were just a nerd. That's
He reads
a really
books.
cool nerd who liked the same kind of whiskey I did. But that's it.
That was great.
It was good.
I love it.
Yeah.
You want to tell a story about me on top of you swatting that frisbee away?
No, I
Year
just
one?
I remember raising up the trophy at the end of it and just saying championship. That's all I really remember. So nothing else mattered in between. It's like,
Fair.
do you remember
That's
that
fair.
3-pointer I hit in the second quarter? No, the scoreboard. We dominated.
All right, so Dusty, you came in on year 1. Nate, you came in on year 2.
Yep.
You've now done it 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the hardest year?
The hardest year?
Yeah.
That's tough. I will say, not last year, not this past one, but the second one was tough. Philip was my team captain, and had a solid team. Things were going well. Warrior games. Zach Lee decides to, crush Philip's skull, give him a concussion.
Yeah.
I felt like that was intentional too. I
Oh
would
my
have called it
gosh.
intentional on that.
It's kind of funny. He did the same move on me this year. I think there's something to it, but yeah, that was certainly challenging. Just to kind of step into sort of like an interim captain for a second.
Yeah.
For the
We lost the guy too.
what's that?
Night one. We lost the guy night one.
That's right. Yeah.
Wait a minute. What happened night 1?
It was
Y'all recruit a guy and then he quit or he got injured? What happened?
He quit.
yeah.
Oh, no
quit.
kidding.
Yeah. So we were a
That's
guy
tough.
short.
That seems like a team
Ryan's-
captain issue there.
All right. Real quick, was there a passing of the baton or did you just step up into that role?
So
You were helping me treat him. too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of keeping an eye on Philip because it was, during the Warrior games, just kind of watching everything sort of unfold and didn't really know what was going to happen.
Yep.
The other guys, as I recall, I think everyone else was new. I think I was the only other one that had done it before.
How did you hear about it the first time you heard about the Caveman?
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah.
So, Pastor Tim from Calvary shoots me a text message or maybe an email saying, hey, we've got a bunch of staff guys doing this. He sends me a link of the video from the year before, which was, no offense, that was crappy video stuff compared to what we got now.
Yeah. Yeah. yeah.
Well, I mean,
Just saying.
yeah.
It's hard
Yeah.
to compare.
Yeah.
But,
Especially to this year's video. But
right?
Yeah.
That's more a shout out to T-Burn. But,
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
But anywho, so he sends me that video and says, we've got enough people, but we need some alternates. Would you be interested in being an alternate?
Yeah.
And this was on like Wednesday, and it starts Friday.
Oh,
I
no
said,
kidding.
That's
I
when you
watched
heard
the
about it.
video immediately. I was at work, and I watched the video immediately, and immediately replied, "Yes, put me down." I was like, "I've got to do this," and then
Dude, that's
secretly
awesome.
started praying that someone would drop out, and then someone did. He emailed me back, I think either that afternoon or the next morning. I was like, "All right, you're in." I said, "Praise God, let's go."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We were that close to not having Nate.
I know.
Hartgrove as a
That is
Caveman.
heartbreaking.
Well, I'm not on Calvary staff. I had no idea about it.
The
Right?
number one
I
comment
love
I,
that story. I
remember
didn't
from
know
you
that.
after year 2 was, dude, I would have done this last year. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah. 100%.
The story I always tell about Nate is the first year he comes in, you could tell he was balling out, but didn't really like especially when he got to the Warrior games. It was like, and I think this is everybody's. It's like, what is this? And you're doing it, and it's like, what is this? And then year 2, the second year you came, I swear you had spent 364 days preparing for the Ring of Fire.
That's exactly
like,
what it
you
happened.
literally when you got into the ring, the first guy, I felt bad for him when it was over. I was like,
oh, it was shocking.
he's on a murder streak. I was
yeah.
like,
It was shocking.
he is winning the Ring of Fire.
I had some very favorable matchups for the first several rounds.
You were like a bull out of a china. It wasn't like, all right, what is this game? It was like, you're going out of the ring.
Yeah, well,
And you were like
so
maniac.
transparency. I was a one and done, right?
Yeah.
My first year, and I did think about that for 364 days.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
love it.
Who'd you
That's
have the first
amazing.
year?
Micah.
Oh, Micah Harriman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough first
Yeah,
draw,
got me.
though, man.
Yeah.
So-
he's scrappy.
So made up for it second year. Unfortunately, Zach Lee got me this year, but next year.
I thought the same thing on that year you're talking about with
Yeah.
him. I mean, it was like, I remember shockingly, and your opponents were shocked as well because
Yes.
they were totally not prepared for that. And you know who the year before that same story was? Garrett.
I was gonna say Garrett, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
like over the top, like flipping the switch.
Both
Yes, he
Garrett
is.
and then you the next year.
Yeah.
Shockingly, like just right
You put
out of
up
the
a good
gate.
fight against the man. What I'm so sorry
Zach?
that I forget. No, Mr. CrossFit.
It's
We're gonna-
Ethan.
Ethan.
Oh,
Boom,
It is
Ethan. We love you, Ethan, and we are sorry.
I knew it the whole time, dog. I was just trying to think about it.
But
And don't think that I haven't rewatched
dude,
those shots.
You
And
put
I'm
up
like,
a good.
how did I lose? What could I
was-
have done differently?
Yeah, Ethan was Mr. CrossFit. Like he was definitely in better shape than all of us coming into Caveman.
Yeah.
But
About 40 extra pounds.
yeah, but you put up a good fight even in that, man. That was a good
That's right.
fight.
Hey, shout out to Micah for letting Ethan drop to number 2 overall pick. I skipped him up.
Well, look, Micah is never fighting for first. He's always trying to find that second place groove. Like that's what
he
if
loves
Micah
it.
got first, he wouldn't know what to do. Right?
Yeah.
He's like,
the
how
dog
can I
chasing the fire
How can I
truck.
be second? Right?
Poor guy.
Oh,
He's
it's
gonna
good
watch
stuff.
this and just
he is.
hate.
He is.
He's like, I'm doing it.
I
No
know.
matter
Right?
what I'm doing it.
Come on back. He
I
always
love it,
brings
I love
good
it.
guys.
Okay, Nate, got to talk to you a little bit after jiu-jitsu, not right after, but over at a birthday party, and you were actually taking me back to family camp when you were telling me a little bit about your story. So, you didn't come to Jesus at Caveman,
Right.
right? So,
What?
yeah, he did not actually.
Walked with him a little bit longer than that.
Yeah. What's your story? Like being a doctor gave you
Testimony in a nutshell?
Yeah, testimony.
Yeah, so 2 wonderful parents who raised me to love Jesus and came to faith at 15. They had divorced, but still, just tons and tons of love from both of them. Had, kind of a tumultuous high school time. And then starting college, just really sort of back and forth with my faith. And unfortunately, went the way of so many people who go off to college. Something like 75% of college kids walk away from their faith starting out as Christians.
Yeah.
And I was unfortunately part of that statistic. And so, that started a decade long prodigal journey for me from 22 to 32. And, early on, I would have said it was for philosophical reasons, with different, really on my part, it was a lack of a good apologetic for my Christian faith. And so, I just kind of crumpled under the weight of all these things because in my pride, I thought, well, if I don't have an answer to the problem of evil or if I don't have an answer to all these things, then there must be no answer, right?
Right.
God, vis-a-vis God must not exist. So,
Spoken like a true doctor.
so anyway, but in truth, the way that really panned out was it was just total hedonism. Like I was wanting to walk away from my faith so that I could just do what I wanted to do because I wanted to take God off of the throne of my heart and I wanted to sit on that throne. And so I did for 10 years. In that 10 years, I go through medical school. I meet the wonderful woman who would become my wife, who was also living as a prodigal at the time. And then after the first year of marriage, we're pregnant with our first kiddo.
So y'all got married unsaved.
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah. Depending on how I'm not getting
No,
theological.
yeah, that's okay. I understand.
But we were not living for the Lord.
Gotcha.
And it was during her pregnancy that a friend started inviting her to church, to Calvary Chapel.
Yeah.
And so she started going. And, all through my life, I'd remember growing up in these little Baptist churches and seeing these church widows, which was essentially they're married, their husband's still alive, but he ain't
interesting.
there.
Yeah.
Right. And so I remember seeing all these, alone married women at church and saying, if I get married, I'm never going to let my wife be here alone. Right.
Oh, wow.
And so even in that moment, first year marriage, I don't believe in God. My wife's going to church and I say, I'm not going to go alone. Not going to let her go alone. So I started coming with her to Calvary and, early on just thinking, all these poor people, gosh, they have no idea. They're just clueless sheep. It just oozes just pride and hubris. But I remember, even the teaching series, Pastor Frank was going through 1 Samuel, talking through David's life. And there was a moment in worship. And I remember where we were standing in the sanctuary. And there was such a longing in that moment that I said, I miss this. And God, I miss you. That was the first prayer I'd prayed in 10 years.
Wow.
God, I miss you. And, it might as well have been an audible voice that just said, okay, just turn around. I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
Wow.
Like, I've literally been here this whole time. And, and from that moment, I was just like, all right, this is what I've been missing. Right.
Yeah.
And so we get home, Taylor and I get home, and I talk to her, and I'm just like, I got to change. God's the only way. Like, it's like the scales just completely fell off my eyes.
Wow.
And I love hearing her tell the story because she talks about just this purging of our house, right? Children of Israel, get the evil out from among you. And it was a fantastic thing.
So is she like a little further along?
She was
in the process, and then kind of.
And she would say, she was like, I was just a pretend atheist. Nathan was living like a real atheist, right? That's how she puts it.
It's a pretend. I love
that makes
that.
Yeah.
How'd y'all meet? Where'd y'all meet?
She was a bartender,
Okay.
and I was someone coming in for drinks.
What was the pickup line?
I'm an atheist. You want to get together?
So,
I'm a pretend atheist. Let's do it.
I don't believe in God, but I believe in you.
so we, I was in medical school. That was second year of med school. We had just finished an exam, and where we were going to school was about an hour and a half north of Knoxville. Yeah. And my buddy Greg Nakula, shout out Greg, was from Knoxville, and he said, "Hey man, I got to get out of town. I've got a friend down. He works at Calhoun's on the River. It's a really popular restaurant in Knoxville, right next to Neyland Stadium. Go Vols. And Kevin will get us free drinks. So let's just go." And I was like, that sounds good with me. I had been out partying the night before. I can be your designated driver, no problem. And he just says, just promise me you'll get me back to my wife tonight. I just can't be gone all night. I was like, all right, no problem. And so we show up to I was about to say Calvary. Show up to Calhoun's, and surprisingly, it was a Sunday night, but the place was it was dead, and it was super quiet. Yeah. And so Greg and I start walking up to the bar.
Limited options. That's how you got to get them.
Ouch. Man. Oh, that's too brutal. So walking up to the bar, and this beautiful blonde walks up and says, "Hey, guys, what can I get you to drink?" And before I can answer, like the words are in my mouth, even though I'm speechless before her, Greg says, "Oh, we were actually waiting on our buddy Kevin over there. Kevin, that guy over there." And so she just goes, "Oh, sorry. Hey, Kevin, your butt buddies are here to see you." I was just like, oh my gosh.
She's the one.
Spicy.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
And we were married in next week.
Yeah, right?
This is how I know.
That's
Lord.
excellent. I love that.
The thing that I love about mine and Taylor's story is not that it paints us as, people of upstanding integrity, but it is so abundantly clear to us and to everyone who hears our story that God has given us a marriage and a family that neither one of us deserve. Like it is just unabounding grace.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I love it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
How long have y'all been married?
Let's see. This is 13 years as of April. Been together 16.
What's your boy's age?
11, 9, and 7. They're all getting ready to roll over. The
11.
odometers are coming up. 12, 10, and 8. Yeah.
All right, Dusty.
What you got?
How did you meet your wonderful lady? And what's that short, as Nate would say, in a nutshell, testimony?
So you want the testimony, not the
Well, I
the
mean,
love story.
I think it all intertwines, right? I mean, whichever one came first.
Yeah. Well, I guess the testimony would have to come first. No, a lot of similarities, by the way, which is interesting. I grew up in church, mostly kind of on and off, but kind of just different things got a little bit burnt by the church and just wasn't interested in that, especially early on. And then same thing happened to my brother, but actually worse, and so then that even turned me off more. But during high school, I was a part of Young Life, and so I would. I went to every Young Life event and, every camp that was offered. And and I was actually, I was baptized when I was like 10 years old, but you can argue.
And what is Young Life in a nutshell for those that don't know?
Non-denominational Christian group where college age or young adult leaders minister to high school kids.
Got it. Okay.
Their target is the unreached youth. So, yes, some kids that go to church also go to Young Life, but most of the time they're reaching the stuff that the church is missing. So
Got it.
It's a fantastic organization. But anyway, so I would be a part of that, during high school, and then actually went off to college. My Young Life leader, his best friend was starting Young Life down in Statesboro, so I ended up joining on with them and kind of doing Young Life through college. But I'll back up to day one of orientation at Georgia Southern. I'm sitting in like the rotunda, whatever that big common area where Chick-fil-A was. And I was sitting at a table. My parents were there. My brother was there. And Courtney, her sister, and her mom all are walking through. And I looked at my brother and I used some words that I'm not going to repeat. But I basically said, "Dear sweet baby Jesus." I told him, I said,
That will do.
the quote was, and my brother told this story, by the way, hilarious, at my wedding. So basically, it would just I turned to him and I go, "Well, that's the first 10 I've ever seen in my life."
Attaboy.
And
Hey, I don't need orientation. Are you coming here? Because I am. If you are.
So yeah, she was actually dating somebody at the time, but kind of slid in.
Yeah, work that out later, right?
Angle. No big deal.
No ring, no problem.
Yeah, there was no drama involved with that at all.
The other part of this story is I went to the same college as he did, and I know that's not true.
Yeah, water on the bridge. But long story short, I kind of did that same route of college. And I was fairly. I'd get hot and cold like during high school, and then definitely during college I'd get hot and cold, and kind of cliche, but like the double life of being a Young Life leader and also doing the whole college thing. And so it was hot and cold and lukewarm, and kind of all in between. And actually, mine and Courtney's relationship was really that way. We kind of dated on and off, and it was nothing serious. And there's drama and just like I said, breakups, and we had every opportunity to go somewhere else and do something else, but we kept coming back to each other for whatever reason. I've said it before that it's almost like we met a little too early. We were very immature.
Sure.
And of course it worked out, and it was that way for a reason. But that's how I felt at the time. I was like, if only I would have met her in like 5 years, I would say she probably felt the same. But then, I after college ended up taking a job for Young Life. And it was like, there's a lot of issues with my career and what I wanted to do. I ended up doing pre-med after a debacle. I was supposed to take over a family business, and that didn't happen. And so I kind of like changed career paths. And at the very end of college, I was like, I think I want to go work for Young Life. I love doing it. I was like ready to dive in, and I ended up getting suspended, fired, sort of, whatever you want to call it.
Not gonna work anymore.
Yeah, because my sin was exposed, and in a very embarrassing fashion, extremely embarrassing. And so then after that, it was even like kind of more.
I feel
turmoil.
like I gotta ask. I feel like I have to.
It was just a public. My sin was made public. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll stick with
I don't
it.
need to get into it.
Yeah. We'll stick with
all
it.
right.
It's actually pretty boring. It's not
Okay.
bad.
It sounded really boring.
But it was just, I was like, probably putting myself on a pedestal of being like this, upstanding guy, but then like got this wonderful job, and I thought I had everything that I wanted to do, and it turned out to be not what I wanted. Worst job I've ever had. And then I kind of turned to, former sin to.
So question, because I always like to ask this question, because it's not always that it happens then, but when that happened, what was your immediate gut reaction in terms of your relationship with God? Was it closer or was it further? Because when that exposing or when somebody goes, it's either one or the other. Typically, it's not stay where you're at.
Yeah. My boss at the time basically said something to me like to the effect of, so far you've been in your life, you've been kind of the golden boy, and you've had Jesus there, but you've never actually needed him. Mm. You're going to need him now. Mm. Mm. And despite him saying that, I still turned away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm. So what comes next, right? So God's like, okay, you're going to figure it out a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, what came next is I moved in my parents' basement and didn't have a job. And so I finally kind of got myself together a little bit. I went back, retook a couple classes because, at the end of college, my GPA kind of trailed off. But then I realized I actually needed to at least get my straight, be disciplined, at least in one aspect of my life. And so ended up.
So you were still, there was no med school in
no, I
the mine here.
Not,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I had been pre-med, so I knew that was always an option.
Okay,
but,
I got you.
But I went back and I made that for sure happen.
Got it.
So I ended up, studying for the MCAT.
Have you ever talked to your old boss anymore?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I talked to him maybe a few months after all that happened. He was just checking on me. But
Sure.
No. So yeah, then went to med school, but then the funny thing is like I would still say even during then I went back to the kind of a little bit hot and lukewarm and kind of bouncing around, and because it's kind of hard to do anything else other than med school, to be honest. It's just you can't really focus on too much, So, but during all that, like I kind of straightened myself out with school wise and getting to med school. Courtney and I got serious at that time, started straightening my life up. But I would still say at that point my relationship with Jesus was a little kind of hot, lukewarm, and kind of and sometimes apathetic, but because that was something I always struggled with. But it really wasn't until after medical school and then in residency, and then I got to give it to you guys too. I was still doing that kind of lukewarm thing, knowing the truth, knowing what was real and what I needed to do and what I actually wanted, but actually doing it. Because I didn't have the community of guys, and we can go into Caveman and how that's impacted.
I tried in college with our first date that we went on, and
Dude, I got to tell that story, but
wait a minute.
Oh my God!
With Jamie?
No. I took him to the rack. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go work out. You want to go work out today?" He's like, "Yeah, we'll go work out."
So this is the backstory. I knew Caleb before because I was sort of on and off with Courtney, who was neighbors with his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend at the time.
And so we had been around.
We're
each
all
other.
in a big group with that whole
Mm-hmm. I'll get back to the testimony in a minute. I got to the story.
Squirrel.
And I thought I like Caleb's a cool guy or whatever. He's just a little wild, a little crazy. But he goes, "Dude, let's go work out." And I said, "You know what? I need to get back in shape. Let's go do that."
Yeah.
And he said, "Just bring a bathing suit. We're gonna hop in the sauna after the workout." And I said, "Okay, sounds good." And we get there, and he goes, "Actually, sorry, no, just go ahead and put your bathing suit on now. We're gonna do the workout in the pool." And I said, "Okay,
yeah,
that sounds
makes
good."
sense.
And this is an Olympic-sized pool. It's like 20.
Sounds like grooming.
20.
I don't know what's happening here.
I was getting him ready for Caveman.
Gosh.
Yeah, 10 years prior.
Literally, he changed the workout. The entire workout was at the bottom of this 25-foot deep pool. And he had weights down there and everything. And he would dive down and do all these different reps. I couldn't get to the bottom and then back up. And so I did that a couple times. I'm like, Caleb, I'm gonna see you later, dude.
I don't feel like drowning today.
And he didn't see me later for a while, unless it was with Jamie and Courtney in the room.
Yeah, don't call me. I'll call you. Yeah. I was like, I think I'm good on this guy. The intensity's a little too high for me.
Tune it back just a little bit.
Look, I've always said, when you meet me, you're either in or out. I don't leave any gray room for you.
No, there's no. Yeah, for sure.
And who knew that 10 years later?
Well, and that's the kind of the finish of the sort of not so short testimony, but yeah, I mean, I would say this is the best spot I've ever been in, especially, you know, like with my relationship with Christ, and it's because of finally having the community guys. You know, they say if you hang out with 5 smokers, you'll become the 6th, and it's the same way, you know, with brothers walking in Christ, and so I mean, it's really. That's the other thing is there's never been like this aha moment or, you know, anything like that. It's my relationship with Courtney, my relationship with Christ. There's never been this aha moment. It's a little hot, a little cold, a little lukewarm, but trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
And you saw that I only had an 8-foot deep swimming pool at my place, so you're like, we're good. Like, it can't get that bad.
Yeah.
Anybody that I tell that to that knows Caleb, they're like, oh yeah, that sounds
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's totally
not surprised.
That's Caleb.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of
for
course.
sure.
So.
I love it. I love it.
Gentlemen, Nate, I'm going to throw it back your way.
Yeah.
You said you grew up with really loving parents, divorced but loving. What's something that you have taken away from your dad, good or bad, that still affects you to this day?
Oh yeah. My dad, Herb Hartgrove.
Herb
Hartgrove.
Herb Hart.
Herbert
Hey,
Parks
Dusty.
Hartgrove. If you get the privilege of meeting my dad this side of heaven,
Yeah.
you will be a much better man for it.
Oh, that's
Like
an
he
incredible
is,
thing.
he
to say.
is one of the kindest men that you will ever meet. Like I love this guy, and everybody who knows my dad loves my dad. Right? He's the kind of guy. I don't think he's had a single enemy his entire life. He's just always exuded kindness, and to me has been, you know, throughout my entire life, one of the most patient men I have ever known. Even, you know, in retrospect, as I'm, you know, witnessing him and my mom go through divorce and how hard that must have been, just the patience and gentleness that he has shown me is just remarkable. Like I can't get anywhere close to it in terms of kind of matching that. I think in with respect to my mom, very passionate individual, a very bold personality. And while I wouldn't say that I'm as bold as my mom is, I would say that I'm probably as tenacious as she is. And so the two of them together, very different individuals, right? But really some of those qualities that I've gotten to witness in their lives and do at least my best to try to adopt or, you know, have some of them. Huge blessing.
So you're single child? You got brothers?
Oh no, I've got
sisters?
2 older sisters. So both parents had daughters from previous marriages. So I
Okay.
had 2 half sisters. I was the youngest, and you know, I love my sisters. They're 8 years and 5 years older than me, and I love you both, Micah and Nicole. I love you both. They made childhood like I'm surprised I survived. Right? Like people are like, "Oh, didn't you miss like having brothers like rough and tumble and fight all the time?" I was like, "Nah, because my sisters were like poisoning me the whole time."
Like, is that why
Yeah.
you became a doctor? You were like, I don't want to die.
I don't know. I probably could have been a rocket scientist if I hadn't lost some brain cells because of them. Like my mom says, she had to keep syrup of Ipecac around all the time because of the crap they would feed me. It's the
Whatever
stuff
you
that makes
just said. I
puke.
didn't know what you just said.
It's the stuff that makes you
Eureka-lick-a-cap.
throw up.
Oh, no
Syrup of
kidding.
Ipecac, yeah.
They were literally poisoning you.
Yeah.
What they make
yeah.
you, like, how?
Oh, like detergent, lipstick. I think I literally think rat poison at one point, like
Wow.
some sort of
Gosh.
pest
That makes
poison
sense.
stuff. Yeah, and it's
they-
not like they were too young to understand what they were doing. Like I said, they're 8 and 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
You know,
They just
at-
wanted to see what it would do. It was an experiment.
so at most they're like, or at youngest they're like 10 and 7.
I love it.
So anywho,
So where are they incarcerated at?
unfortunately nowhere.
No, God.
No, I'm just kidding.
So in
They're
your early years of your marriage, I'm kind of interested in this question. We usually ask a lot of people these questions. There's 2 things I'm going to ask every caveman. It's going to be surrounding your marriage and your fathering, right? In your marriage, what was one of the most difficult things or seasons for you and your wife to go through? Was there a season in your marriage where it was like difficult that you had to come together and work through?
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna, most seasons.
Right.
I will say that there was something, and not to go into the details of it, but there was just something that happened that, I mean, it was just like, for both of us, the bottom just kind of dropped out, and we were like, "What?" And we were both following Jesus at this point, and we were just like, "Oh my gosh! Like, what? Where do we go from here? What do we do?" And both just kind of looking to the Lord with God. How did this happen? What do we do next? And there was this moment. I remember it was just such a surreal thing. It was an early afternoon. My mother-in-law had taken the boys, so it was just her and I in the house. And this just overflow of disclosure happened between the two of us. And, like I said, we were both living as prodigals for several years before we met. There's a lot of skeletons in those closets,
Sure.
right? And so, it was just a moment for both of us now, I think, 8 years into marriage. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like 8 years into marriage.
So you
Wait a
had
minute.
children at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
So y'all are holding skeletons in the closet for 8 years into marriage, but it sounded like 3 years y'all had dated beforehand.
Correct. Yeah. And so there were some things that we had shared, but it was kind of one of those things where we're like, you don't really have to tell me like all the the gritty stuff. But we were just like, kind of like before when our prodigal walks ended and we just purged the house of everything. We were just like, we got to purge our history of everything, and just opened up and shared with each other. And I'm a firm believer that secrets make you sick. And in that moment between the two of us, we didn't have any more secrets. And there was just, for both of us, this amazing freedom that brought. And it really was just like this burden you didn't know that you were carrying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about Christian from Pilgrim's Progress.
Dude, amen.
And the burden rolls away.
Yes.
And it's like you didn't even know it was there. But
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so that was...
Well, I think too, in that moment, that requires number one, it requires both people to have extreme humility. Number two, it requires both people to understand what they have been forgiven for.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of those kind of stories backfiring. And the reason it backfires is because one person still doesn't understand what Christ did for them.
Yeah.
Right. And so they have this haughty attitude of, how could you do this to me? And immediately I'm just like, oh, you don't understand how much you've been forgiven. Like you don't really understand what Christ did for you.
Gosh. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's beautiful. I mean, it tells me a lot about, it tells me a lot about you and your wife and y'all's understanding of, what Christ did on that cross and what he purchased. So that's...
And when you see your sin in such clear focus in front of you and you hear yourself saying those words out loud, essentially confessing, man, whatever comes from the other person, you're just like, that's no big deal. I don't care. You can tell me anything right now.
Yeah.
You killed someone? It's all right. Did you hide the body well? Okay.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, don't tell anybody
Don't tell
else.
me where it is, because then I'll know.
That's right. That's right. Dusty?
Before going to Dusty, I was just going to circle back. So, Caleb did a Meet the Tribesmen with you, and it was like a 15-minute like little YouTube, and you had gone through a rhythm of kind of how you maintain intimacy with the Father and your wife. Has that always been a practice? What is that rhythm?
Yeah, I would say that it's probably been more of a daily pattern it's been a number of years. I can't remember exactly how long. It's probably been since residency, because residency, your schedule is just kind of all over the place. So it's hard to keep it more of a daily pattern. But having early morning quiet time with the Lord, and it's become just one of my favorite parts of the day. Getting up before everybody, having a cup of coffee, sitting and just reading or talking to the Lord. And, there's just, going back to my dad used to smoke, and he's been quit now. I'm so proud of him for that. I've been quit for several years, but
Like weed or cigarettes?
cigarettes. And so
To ask.
you have to know Herb Hartgrove to know how ridiculous that question is. He's so straight laced, but every single time I would go over to visit with him, for the summer and whatnot after they were divorced, I would come out. He would have already been awake for who knows how long, sitting in the same place with a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and his Bible.
Wow.
And he's a Gideon as well. And the Gideons have this year reading plan. So you read the Old Testament in the morning, New Testament in the evening. And I don't know how many times my dad's read the Bible through, because he would just do that every single day.
Wow.
And so that really laid a foundation for me, just the picture of it, right?
Yeah.
Of just like, that's how you start your day. And so as a result, to me, it's just such a joy. My kids get to come downstairs and wake up. They're all sleepy eyed and hair's all a mess. And they get to walk out to mom and dad sitting together, reading word and,
I love it.
sipping coffee. No cigarettes this time, but,
That's not fun.
Weed.
no weed either. But yeah, so in terms of that rhythm, right? Like we've got to have that daily consistency. And likewise, I get that time in the morning with my wife, and, there's so many times that I don't even want to leave. I don't want to go to the office.
Yeah.
I just want to stay in that moment, whereas
Patients
you'll see
just
some
piling
guys-
up, people getting sick.
I know they don't appreciate it, I'm sure, but
I'm praying for you. Do you not know that? I'm in prayer right now for you.
Thoughts and
but
prayers.
there's how many guys that you know of that can't wait to get to work, right?
Oh,
They can't wait to get away from their house and
Yeah,
whatever's
not me.
going on. Dude,
Burn
I
it
just
down.
wanna be there. I just want to be there.
Well, you say that picture of your father, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love that you say that, because I always say there's some quality that every boy takes away from his father. Like my dad was one of the first tough man, right, in the state of Georgia. So he was a fighter growing up, right?
Yeah.
And so I just, whether I could or couldn't, I thought I could take on anybody.
Yeah.
Right, I was like, because I'm an extension of my dad. Right,
Right.
I was like,
Even if you lost,
Yeah.
your dad was there.
that's right. Like I grew up fighting. Right, I grew up in karate. I grew up in martial arts my whole life. Like that's what I did, and it translated in even my sports. Like I was a quarterback, but I ran the option like a middle linebacker. Right, because I always wanted to play defense anyways. But that's what I took from my dad. Like from him, it was like I have to be that guy, right, on the field or in the group. Like I have to be willing to either win or take the beating, right? And it was like, so I think every boy, just saying like, takes something away from their father, right? And even that beautiful thing, like imagery of my dad sitting there in the morning with the word, like that was something you took, and that's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love
Yeah,
that.
Me too.
Awesome. All right, Dusty, your turn.
What's the question again?
So the first question, because we're going to go back to fatherhood in a minute.
Yeah.
The first question is, in you and Courtney and your marriage, like, was there a season there? Just something
Sorry,
y'all had
that
to
was the second question.
walk through. There was a question.
There was, and
What?
you actually answered it. I thought it was a perfect segue, which is why I thought you did it.
Oh.
The first question.
That's why I did it. I was saying if you caught it. Good job. You did. Congratulations. You take it from here, Daniel.
Looking back at your dad, good or bad, is there anything that you've taken from him that still affects you to this day?
I think in life you have to learn, and you got to watch people, and you got to learn what to do and what not to do by
Sure.
watching people.
You can learn from everyone.
Yeah, you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
You can learn in success. You learn a lot more in failure.
Yep.
I'll go the negative route. I guess it's probably a little easier. I think me and you both fit in that mold a little more, but my dad's a very regretful person, and that ended up shaping a lot of his actions and his thoughts on life and how he approached situations and how he approached family and kids, and so especially when I was younger, I kind of turn that to like make it be a negative. Well, I don't want to regret not doing this, you know, or you know, not having fun, or you know, and so like you know, living life to its fullest. But I think now that's kind of a different meaning. But yeah, that was the main thing. Is I don't even when I do mess up or seasons aren't great, of not living in that and letting that negativity carry forward. You know, either fixing it, doing better, or forgetting about it.
Yeah.
Not worrying about it.
So
Yeah.
you tell a story often. If you don't want to tell it, you don't have to tell it. But
Okay.
you've told me multiple times about how when you press into something, sometimes you won't give it 100%.
Yeah.
You know, because then you're like, it gives me an out if I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? Like, you know, I mean, again, you don't have to. I'm not trying. I mean, I didn't think you would care if I brought that up, or I
No,
wouldn't
I
have
don't
done
care.
it. Yeah, I didn't think you did.
I don't care. That's very obviously probably one of my biggest flaws is
And I wanted to make sure that the world knew that. Because I love
That
you.
Dusty has a flaw.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the first few podcasts, all mine got out there, so we're in the same boat.
you did really good talking me up at the beginning. Bring it back down.
Bring it back down, baby. Like a true caveman.
You know, for a long time, I would
Carrot
have
and stick.
I would have actually worried about that. Those days are long gone. So,
I love it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that is, and I've talked to these guys. Nate, I don't think I've actually talked to you about that, but that's probably that's probably my biggest issue is that I will give 80% on everything I do because for 99% of my life that's been way more than I ever needed. You know, I mean, even getting through school or athletics. Like, I did not practice one time. I mean, doing any sort of athletic stuff. Never studied for tests until medical school. It's really when first time I had to actually learn how to study in medical school because I never studied before that. I mean, even like, I mean, you know, I had a bachelor's in physics, minor in math, and a minor in chemistry. Like, literally never.
And in all of those, you're not working on someone. So that's okay.
That's true. Yeah, you can mess up on that.
You can mess up. Numbers, I get the problem wrong. It's okay.
They call it practicing medicine for a reason. So, but yeah, I mean, I never needed to, and I think that goes back to, you know, that boss of mine's like, hey, you've been the golden boy this whole time. You hadn't actually had to try, and you hadn't actually had to lean on Jesus, and
good.
that. And I don't know if it's just of being closer with God or getting older and like realizing, you know, maybe getting a little bit wiser. I don't know, but yeah, that's been one thing I've tried to focus on because I've always given 80% because most of the time it's been enough, and the few times it hadn't, I go, I didn't really give 100%.
I don't want to go there.
Who cares?
I don't want to go here yet, but I want to ask this one question. Don't press into this yet.
Mm-hmm.
But could part of it be becoming a father too?
How so? What do you mean?
In meaning, that's not what you want your boys to do, is give 80%.
And that is something. It's funny because I harp on that with them, and it's really just me telling myself that. Right?
Don't go there yet, because I want to get there. Because I mean, again, same thing, right?
Yeah.
I yell at my kid because I'm like, oh God, that's what you're doing. That's what you're telling me. I got it.
I
For
mean,
sure.
Oh, dude, with my oldest, I am looking into a time capsule mirror. I mean, it's like
I love it. I love it. All right, before we go there though,
yeah.
Marriage, right? In your marriage, what are some hurdles that you had to overcome? And the reason we do this is there's men out there in the midst of these hurdles right now.
Yeah.
Right? They're in it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And I want them to hear stories. Like, I could go tell all the positive things, but I want men out there that are in the middle of a hurdle that are thinking about going and signing the papers.
Yeah.
I want them to hear there is a way to overcome. There is a path forward, right? Last week, I told the story about me and my wife. We went through a season where we had to fake it till we made it. We had to fake it till we make it. Meaning, when we didn't want to pray, we had to pray together. When we didn't want to have sex, we had to have sex. When we didn't want to go on that date night, we had to go on that date night. And we just faked it. And eventually, it rekindled and it came back, right? And there was a process in our marriage where we had to do that. And God was faithful in that. And I do believe God's faithful in that of like, hey, it's not about a feeling. Love is more than a feeling. Press in. like get there. And God was God was faithful. We weren't faithful. God was faithful, and brought us through it and has us where we are today. So I that's why I ask all these questions of like, is there a season? And I don't expect any of y'all to have a season like I did, but is there a season where like you had to work through something, and how'd you get through that? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Absolutely there were, yes. I mean, the easy answer to that is 100%. So early on, because we dated kind of on and off and skeletons in the closet or, so early on it was like working through that. And I think Courtney by far was the first one. Like she will truly not think about stuff that's happened in the past. And because she gets through it, she addresses the situation, and she could never bring that up again. And it would probably never even cross her mind again.
she's very analytical in that way.
And she's analytical, but she has conquered whatever it was and moved on. And that, 100% more than anybody I've ever met. And everybody can say that they do that, forgive and forget and all that kind of stuff. She literally forgives and forgets. And so I had to learn that from her, but that was the early on kind of issues. But I think the big one was just, we got married in medical school. We got married and lived in this like 103-year-old home that I sort of renovated.
80% renovated.
Yeah.
Yes,
It wasn't that much.
80%.
I probably half-assed 80% of the renovations. But it was like over 2 hours away from where my medical school was. So
Oh
I was
my
like
gosh.
literally driving back and forth and sometimes staying with buddies or like living in a house down there.
Holy cow.
She was finishing up PA school right before that happened.
Where'd he be?
So she's on rotations. I'm studying for medical school, and then doing all that driving back and forth. I just didn't go to class in medical school. I would WebEx in sometimes, and then I just show up for the test. It was basically all it was. They actually changed the rule about attendance the year after because of me. So
Oh, wow.
I just literally wasn't ever there for like the second half. Sorry to all my patients out there.
Don't worry, he's very competent.
Give an 80% right there.
So, but then we had during third and fourth years of rotations, we had our first child. Then I go to residency, so go to internship. Then she lived with our 1-year-old, 1.5-year-old at that time for that whole year. She lived with her parents, was working in Dalton.
Wow.
I'm living in Rome, working intern shifts, which are just brutal. And you don't know if it's going to be days. You don't know if it's going to be nights. You don't know if it's going to be a 24-hour shift. Like sometimes we were doing 36s. And I was either working or asleep or just like staring at a wall. I mean, it was literally, and then here I have a 1-year-old and a wife that I'm like seeing maybe once a week for a few hours.
Yeah.
And so that was brutal.
Yeah.
And so then at least, year 2 and 3, I moved to Dalton, but it's still hard. I mean, I was a senior resident at that time. And then at the very end of my internship is when we had our second son. And so here I am doing 2 more years of residency with 2 boys at home, a wife that was working mostly, I think she started out at full time, and then I think she was down to 4 or 3 days a week at that point, but still working, living at home with 2 boys. Her parents are having to come over and like watch the kids all the time. Brutal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Brutal. And here I am, those boys are like old enough to know that I'm choosing to go to work and not staying and hanging out with them. And that was hard. That was unbelievable. And there were several different times during that period where divorce was mentioned. And I remember sitting out that first home we bought. I remember one time sitting out on the front porch and I was thinking that this was going to be it. And I think I had even first started hanging out with y'all, like barely just met y'all at that time.
No kidding.
And it was like, we can't do this anymore. Either I've got to quit or we're done. And 100%, the only reason we even got through is because she's a physician's assistant, so she at least somewhat gets it. She
Yeah,
doesn't do
understood
a
a little bit,
residency
yeah.
herself, but she at least.
And you looked at some of our marriages, and we were like, we can make it.
Yeah, and it was very tough.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I remember I watched, like some social media, like maybe Instagram reel or something like that, and it was a guy. They were talking about like marriage counseling, and the guy said that his first rule when they got married was you'd never ever say the D word.
Oh,
You don't bring it up if you think it.
That's a good
bury
rule.
that thought forever.
It's a good rule.
And it's just not even an option.
It's gonna be
don't
hard
even say it.
to not say doctor as a resident. So tough.
I mean, that's actually a great rule. You may tell you the D word got thrown around in my house more as a threat than a reality.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like it was like, we're not really going to do this, but we're going to
that's the whole
threaten
point,
with
though.
it.
It
No,
starts
yeah.
right there.
No,
You
yeah.
win an
You just-
argument.
Yeah, you don't even let yourself go there. That's
No,
the
no.
whole point of it.
I agree. I agree. My
Context for
if I-
Caleb's house, it was thrown around like literally furniture was thrown around.
Like if I filed papers on my wife, my dad would come down there and be like, front yard now.
Boy,
I'd be like,
get out of here.
Dad, I can take you. It doesn't matter. I have a gun. Okay, well, I'm in trouble. I probably can't take you then, right? But like again, we were talking last week, like, but that's what community is,
Yeah.
right? That's what community is, right? Whether it's your dad or whether it's your friends, right? And that's why men need community, because you go through seasons in life that are difficult. Seasons in life that you might even make a move that you wouldn't make outside that season.
Yeah.
And you need someone to smack you in the face.
Yep.
And you need somebody to go, hey, wake up, right? If you don't, I'm going to hit you right between the eyes, right? We encourage physical abuse from time to time, from man to man, right? Like it needs to happen.
Like that time, I almost had to whoop Daniel's rear end before this last caveman. Right?
Almost happened.
That's right. Listen, I'll tell this story forever. Me and Rachel were in a fight, and I don't even it's when I started the fence in front of the farm. Right, we're in a fight, and I'm a very internal processor. Daniel will tell you, it drives him crazy. Right, I internal process. Right,
That is shocking.
no, I do.
No. It is shocking
Yes.
because he is vocal
Right.
about so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
and I'm an external aggressive person, but I'm an
but-
internal
but
processor.
this is what Caleb does, and I've said this to him like 20 times in the last week.
Hey, 21.
He will only talk about his issues that he's going through from a point of strength. So if he does not know why he's there or what to do about it, he's not mentioning it.
He'll wait.
But
Until
I will
he's
say
got the
one
upper
thing.
hand.
One thing that Caleb will do, and I love this about Caleb. He could be. I mean, he could be in the thick of it with someone, right? You would never know, and they could be absolutely the worst person in the world. And I've known Caleb long before his marriage, right? So they could literally be the worst person in the world, and if he's in a conflict with them, you won't know it. Yeah. He just
Meaning he's not airing anything. He's not putting it out there.
He's not
broadcasting
gossiping.
it.
He's not talking slander.
Yeah.
He's not bad mouthing. He's not bitching or moaning or whining. Like that never comes from him. I respect the hell out of that.
In one place that Daniel's right is internal process. I don't try to talk about things from a place of strength, but Frank said this one time, and I think Frank's right. And I've told him I need to be better about this, but I'm a massive self-corrector. Frank mentioned one time, I guess it was months ago from the pulpit, he's like, every man has to be a great self-corrector. Right? He does. But inside of that, I always try to self-correct, and then I'm like, all right, here was all my crap I went through.
Right.
Right. And it's not even about airing the crap. It's about internally processing it, then talking about the crap. And saying, this is what
gets Caleb in trouble. The ego, because
hey, this isn't
do
about
that- he'll
Caleb.
do
This
that solo.
podcast is not about Caleb.
time out. Because he is such a self-corrector.
Yeah.
He knows he can thrust himself into any situation. Doesn't matter. He'll figure it out because he can self-correct. But it led him to jump into a marriage with no premarital counseling.
We did have premarital counseling.
You met her
We
and
had-
then married in 3 months.
And we had 3 weeks premarital counseling.
It saves you on the marriage license.
Save me on the marriage list.
It's actually a tax write-off. We got married before the new year. That's kind of a true story.
That's so romantic. Man alive.
No,
Why'd you get married? Tax.
Taxes.
Really? That's it.
She is so lucky.
she is so lucky. But well, I don't. What was I even saying? Oh, the story about me and you at the fence.
We actually, I called Nate and Dusty here to talk.
This is an intervention.
So we
Welcome.
were at this fence. I was outside and we were in a fight, and we're at a fence, and Daniel comes up, and Daniel. It's funny. We're best friends because we are completely different in this way, and it's really good, right? Like we just, because we laugh because it's like me and his wife are alike, and him and my wife are alike.
yeah.
Like it's very interesting that way. But I'm at the fence, and he knows this about me, so I partly blame him, right? But he comes out and he's trying to talk to me. I was like, I'm good. I'm like, I just, I need to process. He's like, but man, look, we need to. And I'm like, hey, I'm good. Right? I'm like, we're good. Like, I'm just, we're fresh out of a fight, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, look, I said, I'm good. It's like, and Daniel's like, we're about to fight over this. Like, I'm not even in on this.
Right. The amount of premarital counseling that I had to go through for his marriage. I mean, I was on the phone with people. I was like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, tell me what's going on. And I said, I'm explaining the problem. They're like, Daniel, this doesn't sound like you. It's not me.
It's not me. It's my friend's marriage.
But listen, this doesn't even have anything to do with my marriage. Daniel will actually, no matter what problem I cause out in the community, no matter what it is, and it's not like again, it's not my marriage. It's like whether I'm talking about something like the new school principal or anything that's going on, like we'll have all these people. They won't call me.
No, they won't.
They'll call Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Daniel has got to the point that he's like,
Did you call Caleb?
did you talk, Caleb? Like, quit calling me.
You didn't call Caleb because you don't have his phone number. Let me help you. I'm going to give you his phone number.
I can change that.
We had a big issue at our church over a big. I won't bring it up just for the sake of like not bringing it up, but it was like a big deal, and like a bunch of people that were like, they weren't deacons, but some were, but like they were like, hey, like everybody was calling him up because we had a lot of teachers in our church, and like, man, I really, I don't know if he handled that right. I don't know if he, and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't always handle things right.
Sure.
But I'm gonna say what needs to be said.
He's
I
a
may not say it.
self-corrector.
I may not say it the right way, but I'm gonna say it.
Yep.
And I just remember like we ended up having to have a fire where Daniel called everyone around the fire to meet with me.
Hey, no joke. I'm working a job in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I get back to my hotel. And I've got 21 missed phone calls.
Oh my God.
And they're all calling me about something Caleb's posted on Facebook. I'm not on social media, so I don't even know what's going on. And I just look down and I see Matt Wise, and he's like, "How does it feel to be living right next to John the Baptist?"
Right.
I was like, "Oh my god,
You brood of vipers.
I honestly, I didn't even check my phone. I
He's
set
like,
it down. And I just walked
don't
out.
even know. Like, so we had to have a big fire kumbaya Daniel had to set up where Daniel literally sent out, y'all can come ask Caleb anything. I've invited him to the fire.
All right. All right.
I will say on that, there is something pressing into. So Caveman is all about deliberate discomfort, right? Some of these conversations that we've already talked about, whether it's what's good or bad about your dad or what's good or bad about marriage, right, can enter into the realm of deliberate discomfort. One thing that I have experienced, unfortunately, a lot is men in the position of not wanting to engage in conflict. And there's so much of me that actually gets it. Like the number one problem with marriage or any conflict is communication. And in the age of technology and everything, people just don't know how to communicate. They write stupid stuff or say stupid stuff on Facebook, and then
He's right here.
he's right here. What? No, but at the end of the day, it's like we have the mediums that we do, and we use them to the best of our ability. But so entering into conflict, right? Like, do you guys have any counsel that you would give on whether it's as doctors? Because I'm imagining there's a little bit of conflict that you guys have had to deal with in the workforce, or in your marriage life. Like, how do you guys engage in that deliberate discomfort?
Yeah, so this is what I'm just kidding.
Shut up for a second, Caleb.
Welcome to the Caleb Show.
It's very short.
Something that a lot of my friends know about me is that I don't like conflict, right? Like, that is not it's not my bent. Growing up, I had a very fiery temper, and, I saw just physically the destruction that would end up leaving. And so, I've had this whole mindset that, if I enter into conflict, if there's any sort of tension, friction, it leads to me losing my cool. Stuff gets broken, stuff gets said, things are damaged, both physically and other ways. And so for that reason, I've been very averse to conflict outside of Caveman.
Yeah, I was going to say every Ring of Fire competitor disagrees.
Dude, I tell you, it's like it's the weekend that I get to just willingly step into violence with a bunch of other guys.
I love it.
That are doing the same thing.
Yep.
But it's one of those things that I honestly I have avoided for quite a while. And one of the kind of leading questions that y'all had sent was, what's one of the most caveman things you've done in a while? And I've had to step into confrontation with people quite close to me and have just some really hard conversations that are not comfortable for any of us. But what God is showing me is that He's made us for the purpose, for one, of speaking truth and also of showing love. And we have to do both of those, and they're not exclusive of each other. They're dependent on each other. And what I'm in the middle of learning is that I cannot show love and I cannot speak truth unless I am confronting. And like I said, it's not something that I enjoy by any means. Tyler Golson, who you all know, he and I were kind of walking through something with a mutual friend years ago.
He does not mind
And I
conflict.
I told him, I was like, oh man, like when I, realized the conversation I was going to have with this guy, I was like, gosh, I really just don't like conflict. I'm saying that out loud. And he says, I was made for it. I was like,
And this is why Tyler has said I don't have social media and I have to refrain myself from being on there because
So, but anyway, I will say that that it is both loving and Christ honoring when we enter into conflict, but do so in a controlled manner, understanding what your end goal is, right? And that end goal cannot be to show that you're right.
Amen.
The end goal is to do what is right. Whoever's correct or incorrect in the argument is meaningless. But it is both loving and Christ-centered to do it.
Well, the scripture commands us to find peace if we can.
Sure.
Right. If it's of us and we're able to find peace in it, we should.
So-
Well, at the same time, Jesus says, "I didn't come to bring peace; I came to bring a sword." Right. So it's that people might go, "Well, that sounds contradictory." It's like, no, the sword is the truth,
Right.
and you might not like it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring the sword, and I want to have peace behind it, but sometimes the sword doesn't leave with peace.
And the reality is that unless you confront, unless you bring that truth in, you may think that the end result, if you avoid it, You may be fooled that what you're getting is peace,
Yeah.
but in the end, it is not.
Amen.
Right? It's corrupted. It's weak. It's very it's frail. At best. And so, like, the longer that you go without confronting the thing that needs to be confronted, I think the worse the situation is going to be, and that is not peace.
That's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Passivity is a poor facade for cowardice.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah.
Before throwing it over your way, in your marriage, right? You say you don't like conflict. So, is your knee-jerk reaction, hey, I see a problem, I'm just going to hope that this goes away? Like, what does that look like in your marriage, and how is God sanctifying you? What does that look like?
Yeah, so, very similar to Caleb, I'm an internal processor.
Okay.
Not nearly as verbal as this joker is.
Yep.
But I am certainly an internal processor. And so, if Taylor and I if there's friction between us, I will often not say what's on my mind in that moment, right? Because in the past, what's happened is it's come out, it's heated, it's emotional, it's not well thought out. And so I try to be as measured with my words as I can in pretty much every conversation I'm in.
Such a good advice.
Well, it served me well, but at the same time, it's slow. It is very slow.
Elaborate on that. What do you mean it's slow?
Well, it takes me a long time to think of stuff, right? No, but
don't elaborate on you being slow.
He's just saying.
Like the process.
Because
I'm slow.
like I like to step away. I like to step away from a situation. And
She's just boiling over here, and you're like, I'm going to go step away.
What's ironic, Phil? I'm sharing this with Philip after jiu-jitsu the other day, and I'm like, what's interesting is Taylor's the fixer. She wants to like jump in and do things first, and I'm thinking about stuff. He's like, oh, so you're the female, and I'm like, no,
That's not what I just said. Stop it.
no.
Philip says he stands by.
Males can be listening.
That's the last time I share with you, Philip.
He's just nodding, over in the
But
corner.
this brother listens to me. He prays for me, and within minutes, I'm at home. My wife and I are in conversation, working through these things, having the conversation, the difficult conversation that we need to have, that I have avoided, right? And so that, to answer your question, Caleb, in terms of what does that look like? It usually looks like me being very quiet for a while, thinking about things, listening. I try to ask questions as best I can. One of my mentors, when in the context of kids as they grow up, one of his bits of advice is get really good at asking questions.
Amen.
Right? Instead of just, kind of bringing imperatives to kids all the time, it's actually ask and then receive whatever it is that they're bringing.
Well, until both of you understand what you're actually talking about, there's no point in talking about it, right? And only through questioning will you arrive at, okay, we understand the words that we're using,
Right.
and the place in which we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Because you can be using the same word and talking right past each other.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking that the other person uses it. That's really good. The measured word thing, man, is really good because men need to understand. I needed to understand. I wish somebody would have told me this early on. Women
trying to
do
tell you
not
right now,
get
actually.
over, and I'm listening.
Literally trying
Right?
to tell you right now.
Women do not get over words the way men do.
Yeah.
Right? I could call Daniel every name in the book and go through it, and a couple
forgot
days
him.
from now, he forgot them. Right? A couple days from now, it's not how that works in marriage.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's a good pointer to men out there. Like, be measured with your words.
Hey, I will say, just to that point, like, whoever came up with the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can
Liar.
never hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It-
I think
He was a male. He was a male.
It is the inverse
Right.
of that. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Like, the bruise that you got from a bully
Yeah.
back in 5th grade,
healed
you don't
decades
have,
ago.
but you still remember what he said.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Dusty, conflict, deliberate discomfort. What does that look like for you? Not just in marriage context, but we actually.
I love
even-
somebody being in our community group and we still get to ask them the question.
We've already talked about it a little bit. I mean, we started off the podcast, deliberate discomfort. I'm gonna have to look for a job because there's just some things I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? And then how is God sanctifying you in the process?
I was probably off camera, but as Nate's sitting there talking and saying how he does it, I'm just sitting there going, yeah,
Ditto.
yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I mean, I was always originally very quick to comment, and when there's discomfort, especially more in my marriage, but actually in life too. But very quick to say something that would either not come out right. Or actually, what it would do is it would come out very aggressive. Mm-hmm. So it was still true, and it's probably still how I felt about it later on. But I would say it in either a tone or with my verbiage that was inappropriate, and just too harsh or too aggressive. And so I adopted that model of maybe I'll just shut my mouth for a little bit,
right.
And actually think
See
about
how this works out.
Let me make sure my vision's clear on this.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I still feel the same way. And probably, most of the time I would, but I would think about how to approach. It's more about how to approach the truth.
Interesting.
Not that the truth would change, but how can I understand where that person's coming from, meet them where they are.
Yep.
And so that was, I'm still learning that, and I still mess that up. But especially like in college or younger years when I was, if I was ever drinking, my very sharp, quick tongue, and would say hurtful things. So I had to kind of step back from that. Well, step back from the drinking first off, but cheers. But step back and that's kind of our go-to if something's going on with me and Courtney, even now, is she does most of the talking, and I'll ask a couple questions, and I'll go, okay, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute, and that was a hard thing for Courtney. Like, Courtney was like you do not go to bed unless every stone.
Oh my gosh! If I hear
unturned.
"Don't let the sun go down on your anger" one more time, I'm gonna blow my top.
Yeah. And she was hard on that. That was a hard rule. And her parents probably did that, and her parents are fantastic people. Just better than I deserve as in-laws. But wonderful, wonderful people. And I was like, that model don't really work for us.
No, it doesn't. And that's not what it's talking about.
Deal with it.
I'm not even going to try to compare myself to your dad. So I'm not there. I need to think about this for a little bit.
My dad finally told my wife one day, he was like, Rachel, sometimes a Callahan needs to sleep on it.
Yeah.
Let the sun go down. He'll be better in the morning.
And you're going to appreciate it because it's going to be a lot easier, and there's probably going to be some.
And it was like it clicked. She was like, "Oh, okay, right."
Oh, that was a huge, huge issue. Like literally every argument, and I would always get that. Like, I feel like we're going in circles right now because it just comes back to that whole thing about then it's not even about what the original issue was. It's about how we're dealing with the issue. So. So there's finally common ground, and
Could you say this when we were in premarital counseling? One thing that really changed my world, just literally, and I'll ask both y'all this, was I'll never forget this. Kurt Lewis, that was his name, phenomenal counselor in Chattanooga, by the way. He said, "Until you have pity on your wife, you're never gonna make it." He looked me dead in the eye and said that. He's like, "You're a wonderful arguer." He's like, "In fact, I don't even want to engage with you." But he's like, "But until you have pity on your wife." So not she's right or wrong. That's not the point. When you pity her, whether she's doing it wrong or doing it right, it doesn't matter. You are the man, federal headship. Until you pity her, you'll never make it. And I just remember that. I remember that. And I held fast to that. And it was one of those things that was like, okay, so my goal is to help my wife become more in conform with the image of Christ, but I may not be doing that even though I'm right? Like I can be right and still not leading my wife in that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In terms of, do you have to be correct to lead well? Right. And I think that so often we make an idol out of being correct.
Yeah.
instead of just doing what's right.
Yeah. That's good.
This is a little side story. When we took the MCAT, you know, there was like that essay part of the MCAT, which is like the old school way.
I remember
It's
that,
such a
don't you,
joke.
Daniel? I remember that.
That was
Remember you did
literally
that?
the question. What you just said. The question was, do you have to be moral and correct to lead well?
Oh my gosh.
And the only thing that I could think of was Adolf Hitler.
So you just hit one word essay, Hitler. Just it's over.
I was like drawing a blank, and I hate those stupid essays.
Yeah.
So that's all I could think of. I literally wrote the essay to get into medical school on how Adolf Hitler led well, but was morally incorrect, right? And I was like, I got done, and I go, damn it, I'm not getting into medical school.
There's no way they could give this a passing score. And now we all find out that they're all socialists anyway.
Yeah.
So what's
We know now that the head over all those, none of them are Jews. We know that.
All right, let's not get canceled.
So what you guys were just saying made me think of this Bible verse, Philippians 2. It says, "But in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others."
That's good.
So just talking about pitting and
Yeah.
having a heart, right? For so I think that's really kind of the first step in conflict resolution, communication of like, do I care more? You said this. Do I care more about being reconciled or right? Right? And I can't tell you how many times in the earlier part of my marriage I would say, babe, at the end of this, what I want is to be reconciled, not right. But we got to work through it. I think we all have like the baggage of our past, good or bad, of how we deal with conflict. And I'll just, before moving on to the next topic, give you guys the last word on what advice or counsel you would give to the guys listening on deliberate discomfort in engaging in conflict.
Yeah, I think certainly just understanding the necessity of it. You know, and that's not only in our marriages. We've been talking about our marriages a lot, but also in our friendships. And just recognizing that, just as you said, it's not so much where am I going to be at the end of this argument, at the end of this discussion. Like when the dust settles, you know, who's going to have their hand up, right? Hopefully it's going to be both of us. Hopefully, you know, whoever is in conflict, it's seeking helping them to be closer to Christ and us being more like Christ in the process.
Right.
Because there's all kinds of ways to win arguments. Caleb knows that, right? But when it comes down to it, you know, if what we're doing, if we're going about it in a way that doesn't represent our Lord accurately and genuinely, and if we're not doing it in a way that helps that person come along, then you're just doing it the wrong way. I don't care if you're right, you know. I think the point of conflict needs to always be, you know, what's the end result of this going to be? And I love what you said just about preferring to be the goal is reconciliation, you know, not winning. And I think so often we're just stuck in this, but I'm right. I know that I'm on the right side of this. It is ultimately about reconciliation, and the whole cliche of, you know, happy wife, happy life, just, you know, let her go along with it and do whatever. I think that just completely abrogates what our responsibility is in marriage, and that's to bring our wives along to be more like Christ as we're trying to be more like Christ.
Yes.
You know?
Amen. That's good,
Love
man.
that. How about D?
My answer to that question, I'll sort of tie back into health, which I'm surprised the little amount that we've actually talked about health and medical.
These
which
guys
is-
don't
You
care
told
about
us
being
from the
healthy.
beginning you are far more than a physician before you are anything else.
That's true. No, I'm happy
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm also happy to talk about health.
We're coming back to
We-
it. Don't
we can-
worry. It's coming. We're getting there.
That's give me more podcasts. I'll go as deep as you want. But what I'll say is, when you are not healthy, your chances of reaching that resolution or conquering the conflict
are way down. So if you're in a physical confrontation, if you are not physically fit or know how to defend yourself or your family, your chances of having a good outcome are low. If you are in an emotional argument or discussion with your wife, if you are not emotionally healthy and y'all know how to work through things, know how to attack things, your chances, the outcome are very low. Yeah. And the same thing spiritually, right? Whatever the spiritual battle is, if you are not spiritually healthy, and we're called to be actually all of those, spiritually healthy first, but we're called to be of sound, mind and body, and of course, cliche, but treat our bodies like a temple. I mean, that's mind, body, soul, and it's because when conflicts arise, our chances of reaching that good outcome are drastically lower when we don't have those things, the discipline of whether it's your body, your spirituality, or your mind, your emotions. If you're not there, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say on that, the confidence level when you're healthy,
yes,
right, to resist the donut. So much easier than when you're unhealthy.
Resist lust or whatever it is. Yeah.
When
But
you're,
what if the hot sign's on?
It's tough. It's tough.
But I'm just saying, but
like
that's different when the hot sign's on. I feel like now it's on no matter what.
If you know how to handle yourself physically in combat, you're always the calmest guy in the room. And so, to your point, most of the conflict takes place in the most intimate relationships we have. And when you start freaking out and losing your cool, it shows how of a immature novice you are at actually dealing with intimate conflict.
Yeah.
And you can either stay there or you can get better. And I would just say this to, I don't care if you're married 2 years or 20 years. If you don't know how to handle conflict, there are people that do, and there are literally programs, curriculums, counselors, and people out there willingly to help guide you along and to have conflict better.
Yes, and I think that the lack of discipline in any of those fields is one of the greatest tools of the enemy. So when you're not disciplined in all of those, you're open for attack from whatever front it is. Read for me, please. I'm basing a lot of this off of this verse, or these couple of verses. 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27.
Do you not know that in a race all the runners all the runners run, but only one gets a prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, do not run like a man running aimlessly. I do not fight like a man beating the air. No, I beat my body and make it a slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. What's your thoughts on that?
I was totally hoping you'd read something completely off, not there, and see what he did. Go to Leviticus and just start reading.
Well, you saw, I was like, what?
That's totally not the verse I was thinking it was.
27? I can't remember. Yeah. It talks about, well, there's a couple of things in that. You can have discipline and not be aimed in the right direction, and that's futile. But
That's
you also can be aimed in the right direction with no discipline. It's futile as well.
That's good. That's good.
And so, whatever aspect it is, and I mean, I've got. We're all that way. Certain aspects of our life are it's super easy to be disciplined. For me, I can eat well enough where I don't have to work out in my entire life, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy for me to conquer diet, and
Don't drink whiskey.
Well, that's not.
Next.
I've never had a doctor tell me how bad alcohol is for you. And like, I'm not giving up whiskey.
I just literally told a patient today I like bourbon and coffee way too much to tell people not to drink it.
I love it.
To your point, I watched this little YouTube short of a guy, and he was talking about how many guys are gym bros that maybe are engaged in some type of tactical training or combat training. They're ready to kill anyone that would threaten their family, but they're not willing to kill their lust to pornography. They're not willing to kill their addiction to self. They're not willing to kill their insatiable desire for whatever it is, primarily just me time, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
But I would totally argue that they're not all of those things physically for the purpose of protecting their family. But it's to do it in such a way to go, look at me, what I can do. Right? I would argue that. I don't think you can actually be all those things to protect your family and then not dedicate yourself to protect your family emotionally, spiritually, and mentally as well. I don't think that's possible. One thing I will say is a guy that engages in conflict often and over the years has not, like, it's not a matter of opinions. If the foundation starts, it's your opinion versus mine, it's over. It's done. Right? So it can't be an opinion thing. It has to be an authoritative thing. And the question is, what is the authority? Right? And if the authority is not the word of God, you're in trouble.
Right.
And this is why I just tell people, like, if you're in a secular relationship, you're in a lot of trouble. Because in a secular relationship, it is opinions. Right? And what else matters? Who cares? So what? Right? Every question is a question of authority. Who has authority? And so if I'm coming to bring the sword and not peace, because the reason I'm doing it is not because I don't want to not have peace in my friendships or my marriage or these things. I want peace. Like, I'm a very conflictual guy, but I don't enjoy, like, just staying in conflict with people. Like, that's, like, people misunderstand that. Like, that's not my joy. But when I drive the sword down, it's not because it's my opinion. It's because the word of God says this. And if we're going to have peace, we're going to have peace around this. And if we're not, so be it. We won't have peace. Right? There's many times in the word of God of things I want to rebel against, things inside of my flesh that I don't want to give in to. I want to do something completely different. Doesn't matter. I'm not the authority.
Right.
Right?
yeah, and on that, peace is not just a concept or a state of no conflict. Peace is a person, and his name is Jesus.
That's right. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. At the end of it.
So you can't have peace without God and His Word. You can't. Same thing with truth. Same thing with love.
Yeah.
I mean, any of the attributes that mankind is striving after,
Right.
they're not attributes of God. They are His very being.
They are God.
Amen. Which is why I say you cannot. And it sucks sometimes, right? I mean, there's certain things I'm willing to sleep on the couch on. And I've slept on the couch from time to time, right? But there's certain things that I'm like, this is what the word says. And it's not that I even want to adhere my life to it, but I must. If I'm going to claim to be a Christian and stand there, I must adhere my life to it, and therefore you must too.
So on that, forgive the little rift, but working in Chicago, and a guy, I won't give his acronym or his, what do you call it?
Initials.
His name?
Initials. I won't give his initials out, but his name was Doyce. Doyce, honestly, I hope that you're listening to this. He came up to me and he said, "Hey, you're a Christian, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I want to talk to you later, specifically about homosexuality and God." And I knew he was homosexual, and I said, "Okay." And so we met in the morning and talked for 4 hours. And he came, he brought the Bible that he had from his hotel room. And he said, I know that the Bible says that homosexuality is a sin. Why are you saying it's a sin? I said, well, you just said it. It really doesn't matter what I say.
Right.
That's what the Bible says. And he said, well, why does it say it? And I said, that's interesting. And why do you think it would say that? Kind of going back to, like, asking questions.
Yeah.
And we just sat there for 4 hours, literally asking questions. And it always goes back to, and I find it interesting because it's like poor apologetics. leads to so many people just abandoning truth
Yeah.
because they think they've stumped God. He's
Right.
like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could go down that rabbit trail as far as how that conversation went, but towards the end of it, he goes, hey, is this church? And I said, well, I mean, the Bible says wherever two or more are gathered in his name, and we've been here with the word of God, talking about God the entire time. So yeah, this is church. And he goes, I could do this. I could do this.
Yeah.
And so there is a way to engage in conflict in a non-confrontational manner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's probably a couple up your sleeve.
Well, I really want to get into the considering we have two physicians here.
Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to get into fatherhood. Maybe we'll come back to that. But because I want to get into this first. Because I did not know you both had 3 boys. That's super interesting. I want to get back to that. But I want to ask the question because I think this is a place for me that the church has. I'm just going to say it because I don't care conflict, right? We've abandoned this kind of area inside of the church when it comes to health, right? Like we don't really talk about that anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's because, I mean, we're probably, I don't know, but it seems as if the evangelical church is one of the most unhealthiest places that you walk into nowadays. It's like everybody's fat and out of shape and it's just like, oh, but we're spiritually healthy. And I'm like, yeah, but
that was literally the first thing Courtney and I walked in Calvary. We're like, everybody's fit here.
Right.
Yeah.
These people
right.
work out.
Yeah. So Calvary's a unique place in this way, right? In a lot of ways. But my point is like the church as a whole, right? It's kind of like, well, we're spiritually fed and we got this, we're spiritually healthy. Fed. Yeah, and we've just abandoned the physical reality of life. Mm-hmm. And to your point, you kind of brought this up, like being physically fit, it affects all other areas of your body, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it affects your mental, your emotional, right? It just does. It affects you. Mm-hmm. And maybe speaking to that, I don't even know really what the question is, right? And I don't know the question because you're more knowledgeable than me in this area. And I've always said this, like, if you don't know the area, how do you know the questions? Right. And so I don't want to pretend that I know the questions to ask. Mm-hmm. Instead, I want to present it and then y'all talk about it.
I think the answer and what I've found is that, especially in internal medicine, we specialize in old, sick people. It's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Old, sick people.
Yeah.
And
Nate's like, yeah.
The funny thing is, our favorite thing is to, prevent people from getting old and sick, right? Yeah. But nothing takes a toll. Not just, physically, of course, but on your mind and emotionally and then spiritually than having a heavy chronic disease burden.
Yeah.
Mm.
It drains everything that you got. And you can see the life, the passion, the love, the faith drain from people when they are sick because that's all you can kind of focus on. When you're in pain every single day, or you're worried about what your blood sugar is every hour of the day, or whatever it is, you can't focus on anything else. Mm-hmm. And so, once again, we're commanded to be physically healthy, and yeah, you're right. People just kind of abandon that. But I think that also is
why is it? Why do you think that is? Why is it that we as because the secular but time out now look, I don't want to. The secular world does not abandon this idea. Right. Now, that's all they have, too. I want to say that, right?
That's
they
what I think
idolize
it comes down
it. They
to.
idolize it.
It's priority, right?
Yeah.
It is a matter of priority. And so if you have people who, and rightly so, think that the most important thing for me to get right is my relationship with Jesus, this thing that's more, kind of more intangible, you're connecting with the Lord, you're connecting with spiritual aspects and things like that, there starts to become this disconnect, right? That you do get so, and that whole saying, you're too heavenly minded to be any earthly good kind of deal, which is, kind of ironic. But what I would submit to you is I think that people can get so focused on, let me make sure I'm spiritually healthy. And sometimes they don't even do that, but let me make sure I'm so spiritually healthy, and then everything else I can just sort of ignore.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's part of what we run into is, it's fine. Like, this isn't really a sin. I mean, there's gluttony. Wait, no, that's not really a sin.
Yeah.
Right. But yet we can turn a blind eye to things that don't seem to be so laid out black and white
Yeah.
in Scripture. But
But gluttony, let's go past that, because God gave you a body, right? God gave you a body. So I think a lot of people have gone, okay, yeah, so gluttony, whatever. But I think it's deeper than that. And I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's far deeper than just, gluttony. No, God gave you a body,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, part of what, as we counsel patients is talking with them that as Christians, we're very familiar with the thought that your resources, your time, your finances, your abilities, these are things that the Lord's entrusted to you, right? These are gifts from Him, and He's expecting you to do something good with them, right? The talents, right? Shout out to PF for the most recent sermon that he did.
Amen. Yeah.
And so these are things that are entrusted to us, and what we try to impart to people is your physical body is one of those things.
That's good.
Right? Like, just like your abilities, you may be musically talented. Fantastic. Use it for the Lord. But guess what? You also live and move and breathe. Like, you've got things to do with this corporeal body, this physical presence that needs to be done
Amen.
in the honor of the Lord.
Yeah.
And then when your health is suffering, you're not able to use those other talents. I mean,
Right.
those diminish very quickly. Because when you are unhealthy and you are chronically sick, that becomes your number one priority. Almost always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Golly, I think you were telling me this earlier, but like, it's so true. And you see it as you get older, it's like the only thing that old people think about is their health.
Yeah.
Because it's the thing that
They'll sit down and they'll start talking about all their pills. They'll start talking about last time they had a bowel movement.
Yeah.
They'll talk about all the specialists that they're having to
Well,
see.
to both of your points, though, like you just said, I think everybody out there would give a hearty amen. Your resources are called to be used for the kingdom of God. But when you become unhealthy, your resources have to be all used on you,
That's a
right?
great
I mean,
point.
like, you have to use them
That's
all
a
on you
great
because you're
point.
trying to stay
Yeah.
healthy
Yeah.
at that
Amen
point.
to
Or
that.
you're taking so much medication that you're foggy headed, or you can't function, or you're now dependent on someone else to
The
take care
asset
of
that
you.
you were
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah.
And not only are you no longer as big of an asset as you could be, you're now requiring other resources too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
And I think so often folks have this, they get focused on their health with respect of what they want out of it, right? Like, I want to be able to do this with my grandkids, or, I want to lose some weight, or I'm just so tired all the time. I want to change this, that, and the other. But we do lose sight of the fact that we are not our own, right?
Oh, amen to that.
1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20, you were bought with a price. Your body don't belong to you anymore.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Who's
And
it
you
belong
are-
to?
God.
Amen.
The one who paid for it.
Rachel, did you hear that? It's not yours anymore.
And Dusty already brought up Romans 12:1, right? Treat your bodies as a living sacrifice to do what is honorable and pleasing in the sight of the Lord. These are things when we realize that this isn't mine. My mentor reminds me all the time, John Bolt, who he and I have been meeting actually since the end of my prodigal journey. And he reminds me over and over again that we are just managers. We don't own any of this stuff, including our physical bodies.
Good.
And so when we do step into eternity, as we all will, we need to be able to give an account. All right, well, what did you do with what I entrusted to you?
Ugh.
Right? And so that gives us more motivation, to put better things in our body, to do better things with our body,
Yes.
to not do the wrong things with our
Yes.
bodies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah, C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity, he says that gluttony is the humblest of sins
yes, it is.
because you wear it. Unlike pride, which is always hidden, right?
But it doesn't seem to be anymore.
Well,
Right. I'm just saying, C.S. Lewis is
still alive.
correct, but it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
in the church is what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't seem, if it is the most humblest of sins, why don't we talk about it more?
No.
That,
He's not saying that it's talked about a lot. He's just
right,
saying
right.
that-
No, I'm
that
saying he's,
as far as
amen.
sins go, you can hide a porn addiction.
Sure. Amen.
It's hard to hide a food
Yeah,
addiction.
he is. Yeah,
Right.
He's
Yeah.
correct.
But because it is, to your point, Caleb, because it is so obvious, it's like, well, I don't need to talk about your food addiction because that's obvious, right? And that's really, and,
Well, you
oh,
can't
that's
fat
so
shame
hard.
people.
Probably
All that
back
kind
to
of
the
stuff.
love and truth thing. Not the best way to start the
No,
conversation.
you know what's funny is they do this comparison between how guys treat each other, and we did this to Ryan on the last podcast.
Yeah.
Ryan's in great shape for a fat guy, and like just shame.
He's
Like,
the most
guys just
athletic
give-
fat guy I know, though.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
serious, like, he's good.
guys just rag each other, but in girl culture, right? It's like, oh no, girl, you look pretty,
Yeah.
you look great.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, and it's like, no, like she's 230.
Yeah.
Like that's 5'5". It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
we're
muscle.
getting canceled for fat shaming.
There you go.
We've gone around.
So let's shift away from that pretty quickly. But no, amen. Wide is the path that leads to life, and few will find it. Narrow is the path.
Can I
that
just say one thing to that?
you're going to. So go ahead.
Because here's the thing. If you're not going to talk about it, you can't say you care about it.
Right. Yeah.
So you could say, oh, Daniel, you're fat shaming. No, I love you enough to point out what seems obvious to everyone, but isn't to you. And so we're going to talk about it, and that's going to be uncomfortable. And to your point, I may not do it in a couthly or perfect manner.
Right.
Yes.
And we can work through that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a sinner too who needs to be sanctified. But I am not going to let something that's killing you
Right.
continue to kill you because I don't want to be canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And I think too, not to over spiritualize it, right? Patients will often ask me, as we're going through a disease, discussion about, sharing a diagnosis and sharing what we're going to do in terms of treatment. They'll ask me, do you think there's anything spiritual about this? Do you think? To which I say, yes. Like everything has a spiritual basis to it.
Yep.
Right. The eternal, the invisible things are what are eternal, right?
Right.
These physical things are just temporary. So everything's going to have some sort of spiritual nature to it. And so when we consider, what's at play right now, just in our society, we've got a whole lot of, whether it's industries driven by profit or otherwise that are being used by the enemy to actually attack those made in the image of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And literally attack the physical image.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in terms of recognizing, as we're sitting down and counseling people, it's helping them to see things through the lens of, this is not just a result of, it's how we were raised. I ate the same way that my folks did, and I'm as heavy as my folks are. Like, no, there's truly a spiritual importance here with how you treat your body.
Yes.
And you've also got an enemy that doesn't want you to treat your body well.
That is correct.
You know?
When you said the attack on the image of God, and you were talking about, his conspiratorial mind went crazy. I'm not holding back, but he had all kinds of things he wanted to say right there.
It's amazing
In terms
that you went there.
in terms of the shot and everything else, like he went there, but I held him back. All right, no, but I'm now, after holding him back, I'm gonna take this bomb and I'm gonna wrap it up and I'm gonna drop it right in the middle of y'all two. I'm gonna let y'all take it wherever y'all want to because I know you're gonna love it. So here it goes. In this place, this new age that we're in, where doctors are prescribers rather than more so trying to lead you into a healthier life. It's more about diagnosing you and prescribing you. Do you see, and that's where I was getting at, wide is the path that leads to destruction, narrow is the path that leads to life. Like, there is a way that leads you to a more mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthy person by trying to press into health, which is hard, or the red pill, which you give me, which is easy. I just want to throw that out there of like, what are your thoughts on that? Like,
man.
in terms of medicating people rather than making people healthy.
Yeah, and certainly, I will say it's been different, right? Going from sort of a traditional medical practice, running through insurance, seeing 25 people a day, to what I do now, where I'm seeing patients who are a lot more invested in their own health and their own choices.
Maybe that's an important distinction of you talking about how your place is different than where he's at right now.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's probably a good distinction to
just
lay
sitting
out.
here listening to you talk about how you're having like spiritual conversations with patients. I'm
My
like,
Hippocratic oath will not let me do that.
well, they can't hear me because I'm like halfway out the door going to the next guy, you know, because I'm like, hey,
For now.
by the way, your A1C is 12. This is what diabetes is. Pick up some needles on the way out. I'll see you in 3 months. Good luck,
It's
buddy.
literally that fast.
Wow.
So lay that out real quick. How you might be in the same field, but you're in different places. Like, just quickly, not to get away from the question because I want to hear it.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. And I think just to point out that it's the structure of the system that we're currently in.
Which, and I'll answer that question.
Yeah.
The structure of the system that we're currently in.
I asked him because I didn't know if you wanted to answer it.
I don't. It is so multi-layered, multifaceted of corruption and
Inefficiency.
and apathy and greed and malice. I mean, it is quite literally.
What do you mean by malice?
It's a malicious.
Yeah. Just the interests.
It's a sick care system, not a healthcare system.
Right, the
You do
secondary
not make
gain.
money. You don't make money on a healthy person.
Right.
Oh,
And so
A patient is your customer.
yeah, well, not mine. I mean, I get
No, well, I know, but it's
the-
the system's
it's
customer.
the system's
Yes.
customer. Yeah.
Right? You don't get
Yeah.
rid of your customers.
Yeah.
No. And in fact, if you make them healthy, they're no longer your customer.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's the wor- It would be the worst business model ever.
Yeah.
So
To get them healthy.
the system should be burned to the ground. It is terrible for everyone involved.
This is why I love these guys. This is why
Honestly,
I wanted
I
these
would
two
laugh.
guys on the show
I
together.
would laugh at this. This is actually horrific.
It is, and that's literally the thing that I have to battle every single day, and I'm super jealous of this guy. begging
Only
him
for
to
the time being.
begging him to build a building that I can come work in. Please, dear God,
It's happening.
Send donations, please.
Look, the Tahalum Pine residency could exist. The property is open for $1.
But I'll recap it real quick. Is basically I'm 3 years out of residency. I took a job within a healthcare system. It is the traditional model of I see patients really every 15 minutes. I'm paid for how many patients I see. The more visits, depending on the diagnosis, the level of the codes. It's
And we got a feedback.
That is.
Are y'all
Hey.
old enough to remember Max Headroom? I might be the only one. Okay, never mind.
I appreciate that sound effect.
No, that was good.
Sound cool.
Hey,
But
this is where my conspiracy mind went.
Of the code, of
There's
the code.
someone
There was
that
a
doesn't
code.
want you saying whatever
There's a-
you about to be saying.
But say it
That's all
anyway.
I'm saying.
And he's serious. That's the
I
thing.
believe it.
Go.
oh, somebody's listening or will be.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
We on Wi-Fi, so you know it's happening.
I figured you would have swept for bugs. But
That's what I said. I got to watch what I say so I don't have another meeting with the board about me getting
Nate
fired.
said it. Nate said it was almost complete, so you're good. Keep going.
But no, I am in the system. I'm in the Western sick care system, and medicine is moving in the direction. Nate is ahead of that, and it's going to move that way.
Is it just human knowledge? Like we're starting to wake up to it, so we're forcing the movement? Because I know they wouldn't want it to move that way. To the point, you make customers healthy, you lose customers.
yeah.
But even from that standpoint, my model is actually still broken within the system. So my practice, I think, is like the only practice in probably Northwest Georgia that actually is not negative. So every sort of primary care system
That's insane.
operates at a loss. Hospital systems are fine to buy those primary care systems just because those patients now are funneled through the hospital.
That is
where they're
insane.
It's a referral source for surgeries,
yeah.
procedures.
Oh, wow.
All the specialists where the money is actually made. That's where insurance companies, and so primary care doctors are kind of waking up to that. Of the model is totally broken. Patients are finally. We're talking about all this healthcare stuff. This is really in the last 100 years of when all this diverged, and it's been very rapidly going the wrong way. But I mean, I've seen even in my little limited window within the healthcare system, people are waking up. People in our generation are realizing that our parents are sick, and they keep getting put on more medicines, and they're more sick, and they get more surgeries, and they have to be in the hospital, and it's just snowball effect of disaster and destruction. So patients are waking up to it too. But that's the segue of now his model, which I'll let him describe if he wants to.
I want to say this before you go there, because I want to ask both y'all this, and this might be a much bigger history question, right? But as you were talking there,
What is a hospital?
You were being extraordinarily quiet over there.
We're friends for other reasons. So, I love it. Obviously, in the scientific age, we started developing cures for things that were beneficial.
Did we?
Right?
Did we?
Well, did we? Okay, fine. You can go that route. I'm okay with that.
I think we did
but-
because we
but-
have a lot of pokey pokes that we give.
But my question is this: like, obviously, science and medicine are good, right? They began that way, but like anything, greed and corruption starts to take hold. When did that shift happen? Like, I mean, this is a much bigger. Maybe this is a historical question I'm asking. That's just like,
it is a
when did
little
that?
bit,
When did that? Like, as I was hearing you talk, I was just like, I wonder when that shift happened. That it was like, hey guys, kind of like the Federal Reserve, right? Like 1913, we get in the room and we go, hey, there's a lot of money in this thing. Like, we need to stop trying to make people healthy, and we need to try to figure out how to get them on some kind of a prescription that we own it.
Well, you can't make much money off of selling ground beef or having a garden. You can make a little bit of money, but you can't make much money off that. You can make a lot of money on patenting a prescription drug that's a chemical compound that you can make for super cheap. There's a whole historic thing that I could go through, but basically it goes back to Rockefellers and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money on it too when there's no, like, you literally take it and they literally tell you, we have no liability to this.
That's
And
true.
they also
Which is
have
wild, because if I make a bad product that falls on somebody in a retail store, it's all
they
on
coming
me.
for you.
And that's true for vaccines. I mean, somewhat for drugs, but yeah, I mean, it goes back to basically the adoption of allopathic medicine and the reliance on pharmaceutical drugs.
What is allopathic medicine?
It's like Western pill first
Okay.
kind of
All right, got it.
algorithm
So
medicine.
we're not going to answer what is a hospital.
Hey, do you mind getting me another beer? We've got this handled.
Oh, man.
I really just want to go back to when Caleb made up conflictual. Conflictual.
Is that not a word?
I don't think so.
I've used that my whole life.
Conflictual. You guys are being too conflictual.
I'm 38 and I continue to use that, and I'm putting it in the dictionary. Gonna's not in there either, I think, but we're going to go past that. All right, so go ahead. Sorry.
We don't claim to be the smartest.
We are not the doctors in the room, and we're okay with that. Go ahead.
I forget. What
Allopathic. We're talking about allopathic
there
till he
was-
cut us off with hospital.
Over the history of time, there's been all these different types of medicines. Most of it, natural remedies for a long period of time. But
Sure.
in the several centuries before this, there was all sorts of medicines. There's osteopathic medicine, there's naturopathic medicine, holistic medicine. There's Eastern Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things. There's the acupuncture. I mean, you name it. There was hydropathy, which is like
Yeah.
hydropathic medicine, right?
That's a
There was
wild
like
one.
literally all these different types of medicines that have
The
kinda-
sonar in the bathtub medicine.
That's
hydropathic
hydropathy.
medicine.
Oh, is that
That's
hydropathy?
hydropathy.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's like
I remember you talked about. I didn't know what it was called. Sorry.
frequency medicine. Yeah.
Frequency.
Frequency
That
medicine.
you would have got me with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so all of those maybe made some people healthier, maybe didn't, but they maybe made a little bit of
He has
money.
to say maybe because if he doesn't, he's in trouble.
Yeah. Well,
But
George Washington used to drain his blood out because he thought
Yeah,
the
that's bloodletting.
the draining
and
bloodletting.
humors.
yeah,
there was like witch doctors. I mean, there's all sorts of
Yeah,
crazy stuff that
sure.
probably wasn't super.
Yeah.
And so the whole point was, and this is what allopathic medicine came in. They said, hey, we're going to standardize this. And so some of that standardizing was probably not a bad thing, right? I mean, witch doctors
Correct.
or whatever it was,
Yeah.
right? And so, but what they did was that they labeled every other type of medicine and all these alternative treatments as quack medicine.
Right.
And so by doing that, and it was a huge propaganda thing to kind of push all these other medicines out of the way. And with that, they're also the oil companies, and so they had all this like leftover oil, and how can we make this
Petroleum-based pharmaceuticals.
Petroleum-based pharmaceuticals. Every pharmaceutical, almost everyone, is petroleum-based.
What does that mean?
Oil-based.
Yeah.
Okay, so like leftover
So
oil's
quite
going
literally,
into the medicines.
The gas companies, yes, had
Wow.
all this leftover oil. It's
Wow.
crazy. And
Okay.
so what do we do with this stuff that is not even good enough to be motor oil? And it's now
we put it in our bodies.
that's how we
That makes
medicines.
sense.
And then now you can patent that drug and you can make
Grapeseed oil.
billions.
Dude, I'm telling you, like when you look at the runoff.
Hey,
Okay,
me and
I
you are
know,
asking
I know,
questions.
I know,
Okay,
I know.
in this segment of the podcast, me and you just ask questions.
All I'm saying is that he is right.
And I can go into more detail too, but the infiltration of medical schools. So even now, like osteopathic schools used to mean something. It used to be a different type of medicine, but there is the same. It's the drug companies that pay for the curriculum for medical schools. So now
That's the wildest thing to me that nobody catches on to. Like,
all of medicine.
Big Pharma pays for the curriculum.
Oh yeah. Well, not just the curriculum, but the regulation of the products that they make.
Yes. And
Wait a minute.
And they pay
for the regulation.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Yeah,
pay.
yeah.
They're the ones that are doing the studies on the drugs that they're making too.
Oh man.
And then the studies that they do, they keep behind closed doors, and they release a summary to the FDA saying these are essentially the findings that we've got from our research
This is
that
like
we
the
paid for
kid
of our drug.
Who grades
And now-
his own test and then tells the teacher that
what
he
his
made
grade
an
should
A.
be. 100%.
This is the perfect business model. I
100%.
want to be in this business model.
You know?
Oh, and,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's the number one spender in the United States. I mean,
It's insane.
and then they get in bed with the food companies, and so now it's the food companies that are intentionally making you sick so you can buy the drugs.
Yeah, because it's two hands kind of helping each other out, right?
So give me get just again, if you would, give me an example of that. Like when you say the food companies.
Oh, like Coca-Cola being partners with Novo Nordisk, who makes.
Well, that was pretty quick. Like you're pretty quick on that. I didn't have to think about that a whole lot. It was just like there.
What does it say on the box of Cheerios?
I
Y'all
don't
know
know.
what it
Yeah,
says?
something
know.
about the American Heart Association.
It will.
Oh
help.
yes, it
hard
tells
to
you it's
do.
going to hurt
What does it
cardiovascular
lower?
help.
What does it lower?
Cholesterol
Yes,
takes it down.
provably the most false thing I've ever.
Oh,
heard
you
in
don't
my
think that's
entire
true?
life.
So I need.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing.
So
you've
how
ever
did that
heard.
get on the box?
Because it was paid for by that physician group that is in pockets with. And
If
now,
I put on a display, it will hold 1,000 pounds, and it only holds 250. I'm going to jail.
Right.
I know, but there's
Probably
outs.
out of business.
But here's-
before
Yeah,
jail.
yeah.
Here's
But,
one
but
of
if
the-
it falls on somebody,
Here's one of the major problems, and this is what was very eye-opening for me in what was going on in 2020 was the indoctrination of all the physicians who were supposed to be scientists.
What do you mean by that?
They all believe what they're told to believe.
Yeah. 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 Instead of taking the time to actually think for themselves, it's basically, oh, I'm just going to do whatever everyone else says that I should do.
Did you have a private practice in 2020?
Before? No, I was part of a big group like he was.
So
That's
you
what got him
experienced the
out.
same thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was very much kind of group think. Don't step out of line,
Yep.
right? Like, Yeah, I mean, I remember lectures in medical school about malpractice lawsuits. Like, oh, this guy was doing some weird stuff, so he got sued and lost everything. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be like this guy.
Yeah.
And so it really, it educates out of us the ability to think for ourselves.
Critical thinking is not even a thing in your field.
So I won't go so far as to say that it doesn't exist anymore, but I will say that we have become very, very dependent on algorithms, on treatment guidelines, on, pulling up, okay, what am I supposed to do next?
Yes.
Deal.
Well, he used to tell me his core, what he learned in medical school, right? I can say this, right? Yeah. Okay. What he learned, you're not there yet, so I don't get you fired quite yet. And I don't have a job for you lined up yet. So he used to say, what I learned in medical school was not health. I took a half a semester. What I learned was how do I diagnose this and what medicine do I give you? That's it. That's what I learned in medical school.
Yeah.
Right. And that was my whole medical career. It's like, what sickness do you have and what pill do I hand you?
It's symptom recognition. It is knowing what labs or images or tests to order.
He puts it together a lot better. I
and
simplify it.
What drug to give you at that
Yeah.
So on that, and just for a little rift, if that stays the model, how long until AI takes that job?
They already are doing it.
Yeah, I would go. Yeah,
Finally, a
I
good
would
question other than what is a hospital?
It's already
I would
happening.
agree. Yeah. I mean, if you consider, as Dusty was pointing out earlier, primary care is a struggling field, from the greater kind of business model of medicine.
Right.
And so what they've continued to preach for the last several decades is primary care physicians. There's going to be a shortage. There is a shortage. There's going to be more of a shortage, right? And the question we ask is our population get any healthier?
No.
Heck no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We are not getting any healthier.
You went with the more godly
I
word
did.
there.
I did. I
appreciate
tried
that.
to guard my mouth.
But I saw you almost went with the ungodly word.
And so the
One more Modella and you would went with
and so the push for more and more physician extenders like PAs, nurse practitioners, right? There's a need for them to kind of step in and fill those roles because physicians going through the training that we go through and the debt that we accrue, we're not going to step into a struggling financial situation. And so what that means is you get more and more providers that don't necessarily have the scope of training. And so they're more and more reliant on, okay, well, what's the next step? Tell me what to do. I need help.
Oh, wow.
And so it will, I would be shocked if in the next 24 months, we're not just looking at, setups in I won't name the big names, but all these big corporations that are starting their own primary care and urgent care clinics. If all it is just you punch in your symptoms
Yes.
and it says, this is what you got.
take these pills.
This is going to be the medicine. Go see the pharmacist. They've got it ready for you.
It would be the stupidest, most simple AI algorithm to run that.
100%.
It's already.
Yeah.
All you got to do is have Grok or ChatGPT read up to
Yeah.
date. And they
I was
can
about to say,
take
good question,
So,
Daniel.
so
Good
this
question.
is interesting because right now, depending on which AI model you're using, you're going to get different answers, right? So you would have to actually pre-engineer the model to give you not a, just to give you prescription counsel.
Either pre-engineer the model or you just tell it this is where you get your information,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So he brought up one of the most
Got it.
common sources used, that physicians everywhere use. I will use it from time to time. And so all you have to do is say Grok reference up to date.
Okay.
Reference
Yeah.
Dynamed, reference Medscape.
So here's my argument to all this, right? This is all my pushback to AI. My pushback comes from an Imago Dei argument in all of this. So I believe Daniel's business model does really well because social media took off. And what I mean is people live in a social media world and you have this kind of, this social media internet world where you're relationally there. But at the end of the day, everyone has the Imago Dei inside of them and they want to go to a place where they actually have real interactions with real people.
Right.
Right. And they just, that is not going to satisfy. And I think even if this takes off in AI, and I think it very well could, because typically you have to go through that cycle, right? But people are going to realize I was meant to be healthy. I wasn't meant to be on this pill. I wasn't meant to go through this cycle of, I go to an AI source and it feeds me intelligence and then it tells me what pill to take. And I go through this cycle of life of just living on this pill in complete dependence of something other than health. Let's make that clear. Yeah. You're not pressing into health. You're pressing into a pill that you are dependent upon. Therefore, you are a slave to the provider of that pill.
Oh, yeah.
You do not have your own life anymore. You've given that up.
Yeah.
Right? To the provider of that pill.
And in personal experience, I would have the patient, I would nail the diagnosis, after 5 false diagnoses that I got wrong. Just kidding. I would have the right diagnosis. I would
You
have the
also
right
give
treatment.
80%.
I would have the right diagnosis, the right treatment, right? And I would, everything's dialed in. And yet I look at that person, I'm like, they're not healthy. Like nothing for that person has changed. They may look better on paper. Like we may make cholesterol levels move in the right direction. We may make A1C move in the right direction. Blood pressure may be better.
What is the right direction for cholesterol? I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm blowing up that LDL
hey,
hypothesis,
let me
man.
totally
It's
simplify
done.
this for people, and then I'm going to ask y'all to a question because I like this. Totally simplify it, right? If I get on a scale and it says 230, and I get on in 3 months and it says 215, that doesn't mean I'm healthier.
No.
It means I've lost 15 pounds. But most people go, I lost 15 pounds, I'm healthier.
Oh, sure. They don't really care how it happened. either.
Right, exactly, right? So here's one thing I want to ask from both of y'all's perspective. If I come see Dusty, what is that like versus coming to see you?
This is like a fight. This is Nate's
No.
He
advertisement.
picks up the
pitch.
knife and throws it in the middle.
Hey, and again, here's what's interesting about the question. Dusty's gonna agree, although right?
No, it's just time.
Yeah.
Time is it.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
How
Tom?
much time you have with each
Yeah.
patient?
How many patients did you see today?
5.
It's a big day for you.
It was. I was.
Okay, that
I
was a bad
sweating.
question, right?
I was sweating.
Average day,
Yeah. No, it's maybe 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
patients that I see.
How many do you see on an average day?
I saw 30 today.
Wow.
And
That's
so
a little higher, but normally I'm 26.
Yes, 26
And here's the thing: you guys know Dusty's heart, right?
for sure.
And I am certain that his heart comes across to his patients as well. But the way, getting back to the failing of this system, is you cannot do good doctoring
Yeah.
in that system.
Yeah.
Right.
I would argue they don't want you to do good doctoring.
Right.
He's trying to help you out. Keep your mouth shut for 5 seconds.
But I'm saying, no, I'm serious. He's absolutely right.
They want my patients to be sicker.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
we're trying to make you not say the things you don't need to say to you.
No,
I'm
let
fine.
him talk.
yeah, I'm fine. No, I was going to tell a story, but I'm not going to share that one. No, it is designed that way. There, it is whether it was intentional from way back when, or it's just been kind of just shifting in that direction with little miniature decisions. It's designed that way. You are designed to have the cheapest food, be the most unhealthy. You are designed to not fat shame people. You are designed to not have enough time at the primary care doctor. You're designed for that doctor to put you on drugs. You're designed to eventually have to get on some sort of surgery or chemotherapy or whatever it is. You're designed that way.
What does insurance look like for both of y'all? If I come to you what I pay versus what I come to you what I pay.
Nate.
No, this is important,
No,
right? This is
I know, but I know Nate's answer. He's going to say, what is insurance?
But if the system is designed this way, it's going to encourage me to come to you rather than, and it's going to keep me from coming to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, there's
And does it do that?
how many incentives do you see insurance companies give patients just to come through
All
your
the
door?
time. Yeah, they come get their annual wellness check. They
Are you
get-
saying you don't get incentives?
Yeah, or their work will give them $100 kickback if they go
Right.
see their primary care or whatever.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They get kickbacks for getting their annual vaccines. There's a lot of that.
So I go to Dusty to get on the pill, and I come to you to get off of it.
Man, you are so mischaracterizing. My friend.
Yeah, you're missing it on that one.
Because here's the thing, And this is part of why I love Dusty so much, is that even in the constraints of a corrupt and failing system
I know.
that he's working in, he's
100%.
still not doing that.
100%,
Still
and that's
not
why
following the game
that's
plan.
why I love him. And
Right. Right.
and what I mean by that is I go to everyone in Dusty's position,
Yeah.
other than Dusty that I don't know to get
Mm-hmm.
on it,
Yeah.
and then I come to you to get off of it. I know he's not right. I mean,
what
like
kills-
he's the little engine that could in the mix of the whole system. That's just like I will not compromise to the
thing-
point of the fact he was willing to lose his job over
The
it.
thing that
right?
kills me every single day is that I have to walk into a room with a patient and I have to decide within seconds, does
Yeah.
this person want to be healthy or not want to be healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth my time and energy for this one of 30 today?
Mm.
Can I make a difference?
Yeah.
And I would say a majority of my patients, too many medicines, the ship has sailed, they don't want to be healthy.
We as a people have bought into the pill method.
Convenience.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think our generation's waking up to it. I
Yeah.
see the shift.
Right.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, like right now, I just heard, I mean, there's other primary cares in here in town that are wanting to move to the sort of that model, like direct primary care. And someone said,
What model? What'd you call it?
It's called direct primary care.
Is that what he is?
Sort of, yeah. It's like how you charge the patient, basically. But
So we've talked about what Dusty does. Haven't really elaborated
Yeah.
on what
yeah.
you do, Nate.
Good question, Daniel.
So, as Dusty brought it up, direct primary care is sometimes called concierge medicine. There's a few nuances to each one, but it's something that that the Lord led me to start January 1st, 2022. Was invited to do so by my good friend Chip Crump. He had been doing it for a few years ahead of me. He was in the same group.
Led
and
you
had
by
been-
kicking you out of the other one.
he had been in the same group for a couple of decades and had started his own concierge practice and texted me out of the blue and just say, "Hey man, the Lord put you on my heart to see if this is something that you'd want to do. You know, let's sit down and talk about it, see if it's something that you're interested in." And and so as we sat and discussed that and talked about it with my wife and we prayed through it, the Lord just made it abundantly clear, your time in this model, in this system, is done. And I want you.
And
to
you were
move
in
on.
his system when you
Yeah.
transitioned.
Right.
Okay.
And so what this looks like now,
I called it your system. I'm so sorry.
it's all his. It's Dusty's fault.
Dusty's
really.
fault. He did it.
And so what it looks like now is when patients come to see me, I do everything I can to keep insurance out of the entire discussion, right? So patients can still use insurance to pay for tests like blood tests, scans, images, medications.
Why do you do that?
Because there's so much overreach by insurance. As soon as we start including them into like, hey, could you pay me for this work I did for this patient? They're like, they look at everything and they said, well, you didn't do this. You didn't cross this T. You didn't dot this I, right? We actually want you to go through and do this and submit X, Y, and Z. And beyond even just doing extra work, what they do is insurance companies actually practice medicine without medical license.
I was going to
What?
say, so now they're telling you as a doctor what you need to do.
100%.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah. They would say,
So is that what the guy in I don't want to call the just north of us got in trouble for? He applied insurance to what he
No,
was doing?
That's a different thing.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
so, but to your point, if I know exactly what's going on for a patient, let's say that there is a prescription drug that would be best suited for them and is safer, then I can prescribe that medicine. Insurance will come back and say, no, we're not going to pay for this one because actually you need to actually make this person take these other medicines, which are cheaper and older and possibly with more side effects and less effective, before we're actually going to pay for that one.
Oh, wow.
And they may actually make you go through 2 or 3 of those.
So now
medicines.
insurance is picking the winners in big pharma over what they prescribe.
Oh yeah. And it's always at the cost of, there's certainly a lot of go between insurance payers and pharmaceutical industries with brand name drugs, but at the same time, what we see is they don't want to pay for anything brand name. They just want to pay for generics. They want to do the absolute cheapest that they can.
Or I'll give you another example too. You working at your metal shop,
you hurt your shoulder. You come to me. I know that you have torn your rotator cuff. I know it's blown out.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's undeniable. It's a supraspinatus. Rotator cuff's gone. You need surgery.
Yes.
I'm going to go, I need an MRI to show that. And so we can get you orthopedic surgeon, get you fixed up. The sooner we fix it, the better.
But doctor, this just happened. This patient hasn't been through 6 weeks of conservative therapy yet. Why do you think, with your medical training,
don't you think
that
we
they
need to
should get an MRI?
Shouldn't we order an X-ray first? Shouldn't they go through physical therapy? Shouldn't they ice it at home? You know, it's just baloney.
And so that
Why?
same,
So
hold on
time
just a
out.
second, though.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on just a second. So in that same scenario, what we can do, and what so many people are still shocked that we can do it, is actually, I can say, tell you what, screw your insurance company. I'm going to get this MRI. We're going to do it at the same place. You're going to pay cash for it, and you're actually going to pay less money than if you did it through your insurance and had it go towards your
That's what I was
deductible.
about to ask. Like every time I go to MRI or an X-ray place, I'm a cash pay, and they're like, it's like 300% less. Then what is that? Explain to the crowd, like what's going on? Because when I heard that for the first time, again, I was like, what?
It's capitalism.
I have not come across a scenario where having insurance
Don't take my question.
was better than being a cash patient.
No.
So what is
here's,
it?
Here's what happens, and this is a very dumbed down version, dumbed down answer. Over time, the imaging center will say, "Hey, it cost us X number of dollars to run an MRI." And MRI machines are expensive, so I mean they gotta pay, get their money back. But and every time they run,
$100,000
they're sometimes more.
more.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it depends on this machine, but it can be $500,000 probably.
Okay.
I need to go back and we'll double check that, but they can be very expensive. So they need to make their money back. But they'll say, hey, it costs $200 to, if we get enough, we'll have, pay
If you
back
see
over
30
whatever.
patients a day,
Yeah. But then they'll bill it to the insurance, like Medicare, Medicaid. And Medicare, Medicaid go, we're going to send you $30 for that. And so the imaging center goes, well, screw that. It actually cost you $3,000. And then Medicaid goes, oh, okay, we'll pay the $300 or whatever.
They'll do
it was.
fractions of it. Right.
They'll
do
come
a
back with
fraction.
fractions.
so it
So
increases
the
due
charge-
to the fact that the insurance didn't want to pay, so they have to raise it up to get a percentage
Bingo.
And
of
so,
that.
Bingo.
So people,
That's why a cash price and an insurance price is so different.
but then there's other payers that are like private insurance that will actually pay maybe more like 80% of the cost. So now that imaging center is charging you $3,000 for an MRI, that your Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever it is going to pay 80% of that. But now it didn't really cost that much money to run it. But now that cost has been distributed to everybody that's having to buy into the insurance because now insurance is just
So I
throwing
could
over all this
pay
money.
cash $300,
Yeah.
but because I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, I'm paying $600.
Well,
So-
no, Blue
Because-
Cross Blue
because-
Shield will pay
because
$3,000.
My insurance
No,
is
Blue
paying
Cross Blue
80%.
Shield, and so therefore your insurance premium is going up because of
every year.
everyone else every
but not
year.
just that. Not just that.
Oh, it gets worse.
Your-
Awesome. Let's
They'll
go.
pay the $3,000.
Wait, there's
so
more.
not just that, because your deductible, you have a high deductible plan. You now have to pay all 3,000 of that
Yes.
dollars
Yes.
for the same MRI that you could have gotten for a couple $100.
Yeah, that's the contracted price that your insurance company said that MRI was worth. But your insurance company says, yeah, that's what you should be paid, imaging center. But our client hasn't reached their deductible yet, so it's on them for right
If
now.
you hear this and don't hate the system, there's not much more that they could get you to hate it.
Wait, no, it gets worse.
Oh, it gets worse. Let's keep going. Pile it on, baby.
I have sent prescriptions for generic meds to pharmacies, and the pharmacy, and I love our pharmacists. They're great people, I'm sure. But these medicines we get kicked back because of
Spoken like the true anti-confrontation.
what's called a prior authorization. And so the insurance says, no, we're not going to pay for this medicine, right? So they send us a thing back. The pharmacist tells the patient, sorry, there's a problem with your insurance. You got to talk to your doctor. That's about how that goes, right? And so then we go through it. We get this whole, 3 pages of questionnaire, fill it out. Has this person tried all this, tried all that? Have they done this, done that? What the pharmacy did not tell the patient is if the patient had just told them, you know what, forget my insurance. What's the cash price? Oh, that'll be $5.
Oh my god!
Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it can be that much of a difference.
And so we're talking about hours of physician's time,
It's asinine.
nurse
It's ridiculous.
time,
Yeah,
pharmacist
So
time.
the bull crap is in the premiums that they're making you pay on the monthly. They continue to
That's
rise
just
every
aside.
year.
It has risen because of those issues we're talking about, and so that's why it just keeps,
Well, and the reason
it's
you
like
have
we're
to
just
carry
chasing
it is
ourselves.
because if anything catastrophic happens, you have to be able to have the insurance to cover the catastrophic.
Or
Because
you
I'm
just-
saying cancer treatment's probably the same thing, right? It's jacked up the same way.
I've-
We're talking about an MRI, but what happens when you, like my dad, you're going through a cancer treatment
hundreds of thousands, of
hundreds
dollars.
of thousands it's been jacked up, right?
Yeah.
And so now he's like, if I don't carry it, I lose everything.
Yeah.
Right? Because how can I get treated if I don't have it?
I have
Wow.
one question.
Insane. What is a hospital? I'm gonna beat you to the punchline. I'm gonna beat you to the punchline. Wait. I had another question because I want to keep pressing into this.
No. Golly, I have been sitting on this question for a while, and you're gonna press into this until it's 1:00 in the morning.
No, I'm not. You're asking.
All right. As a physician, you're looking at a patient, and you know prescriptions.
Oh, it's a real question.
Are
All right, go
not
ahead.
going
Sorry.
to solve this issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Rarely will they.
Right. Okay. So, I'm sure there's a line that you guys, dance between physician and counselor. What does that look like? And then, tip of the iceberg. Have you ever experienced or done any deliverance in your practices?
Yeah, in all honesty, I think that, much of what I've been able to step into because the structure of my practice just gives me more time. I have no doubt that so many docs like Dusty, kind of trapped in that model, would love to be able to spend more time with patients to actually explain things.
Yeah.
And to show them what a true solution actually looks like. And so much of my time spent with folks is just listening, right? Is just, trying to field as many questions, from them as we can. I love when patients come to me with lists. That way we can actually sort of work through, because I want to know, like, what are
I
your
hate
concerns?
a list.
I've heard that from so many
totally
docs.
different models.
That's like the quintessential thing, like,
You're
patients
here for
break
an
out list.
acute visit. You told the front your back was hurting, and that was all it was. And you come in with this list a mile long. No, okay, sorry to cut you off.
And I got 15 minutes.
Sorry to cut you off.
30 patients a day. Yeah. I would too.
Because these lists can be long. Because honestly, these patients are sitting, months between visits, and there's a lot of things that go wrong. There's a lot of things to think about. But to me, I want to make sure that after our time is concluded, that whatever they had bothering them or whatever they had concerning them is as close to resolved as we can be by the time we leave, right? And so it is a lot of time listening. And in that listening, it's trying to really get to the bottom of, like, okay, why are we in the situation that we're in? You're telling me that you can't sleep, right? You're telling me that you have terrible insomnia, but really, why is that? Is it that you're at such odds? You're living with an adult child in the home, and frankly, it's probably an abusive relationship. Or it's because you're so addicted to technology and food that you can't put these things down in order to have good rest. To me, there's so much context that gets missed, and I think because of the structure of the system, that if you can't really understand the context, you can't really get to the root cause.
Well, until you understand the question, you can't really answer the question.
Yeah.
And then how can you understand the question in 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Right, to your point.
To answer your question too, as a physician in Western, the system model, whatever, most people are just a physician. That they're a legal drug dealer is most of the time what people are doing. So, but
He's not wrong.
Nate's like, amen.
He's not wrong.
But what you hope to be, and hopefully, men of God, and hopefully, work, molding that with being a physician.
Right.
You would hope that you're so much more than that. And yes, when you have more time, you're able to be more than that. But as a physician, you are a
a teacher, you're a counselor, you're a therapist,
You're a life coach, a health
you're
coach,
a
like
friend. Yeah, you're a life coach. You're walking. You hear some of the things you couldn't imagine, and or just random bizarre things that people are dealing with. Sometimes they're messed up, and sometimes they're not. But things that I would have never even thought would have existed, or wouldn't have thought would be a problem. But you having to navigate these things that aren't they're foreign to you, but once again, trying to meet people where they are and help them work through, and I'm not going to figure everything out, and I'm not going to be, I'm not a counselor to everybody with certain situations, but I mean, dude, I had,
you are to us when our kids are sick.
That's true, dude. I had a situation. When was that? Last week, like this patient came in with something. I mean, just unfathomable issues that she's having to deal with, and it's like, what do you do with that?
How often do you walk out of a meeting going, I wish I had more time to understand it more?
I wish I had more time with everybody.
Yeah.
But especially on those ones that actually want to be well.
Yeah, because I know you. You're analytical. You want to get to the root of the issue. That's just your heart. I know that about you.
But for me, I mean, the people that I'm seeing, they're coming to me for help. Most people want the Band-Aid of medicines, to be honest.
And you can't do anything about that.
I can't do anything about it, and that's easy for me to write off. I mean, and I can walk out of the room and feel like I've, given them what they wanted or helped them per the traditional model. But oh, dude, all the time, every single day.
If I come into the room and I demand more time for you, what are they going to
do? Yell at me, probably. No, I mean,
I want Dusty for an hour. Leave me alone.
At least most of my patients now, I mean, they understand. Like, if I'm running behind, and I don't run as behind as most primary care doctors. I mean, most primary care doctors are like 2 hours or an hour and a half behind, like all the time. I'm probably like 20 minutes behind, 30 minutes behind, but I'm also very efficient too. That's like one thing. I'm probably too efficient in some regards. At least that's what my attendings would always tell me. I'm like way too quick. And but when there's people sick, I mean, you take more time.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's
sure.
It's fine, and most patients
I
understand.
would imagine, like, if I'm just a doctor, right? I get into the field to be a doctor. I would imagine this system. Maybe you grow cold to it, but it would bother most doctors. I mean,
I think that it does.
Yeah,
it does.
I mean, I become a doctor when I'm like, if I want to be a policeman, it's because I want to stop bad guys, right? As a young kid, right? If I go into the doctor field, it's because I want to help people.
Right.
That's why I went to be a doctor. Why else would you be one?
Yeah, and I think that, so many of, even with the constraints of Dusty's practice, with my own practice, with the majority of them, whenever a doctor cares, as Dusty's patients can tell that he cares, that carries so much weight. And you can see it. You can see it in the interaction of physicians who genuinely care and those who are just kind of burned out and just kind of checking the boxes.
Yeah.
Right.
So the overlords, right? We have the overlords, and they obviously like this system. They don't like what you're trying to do. So in what ways do they try to keep you from doing? We talked about insurance. Is there other ways?
I would say this, just for the sake of time. With everything that we've discussed, what counsel would you give to people that are having to operate within this system?
Yeah.
What counsel would you give?
I would say step number one. Step number one is think about healing outside of what pills can do. Right. The pillars that we have to focus on, we've got to focus on movement, on physical activity. We've got to focus on nutrition. We've got to focus on rest. And that includes spiritual rest, stepping into the rest that God ordained in creation. And it also depends on dealing with stress in our lives. Without those foundations being addressed, it doesn't matter what prescription you're given. You're going to have problems. And so I would challenge folks operating even in the traditional system to realize that health and wellness is not just the absence of disease. It's not just making your blood test look better. It's not just making your blood pressure look better.
Right.
Like it is far beyond that, and getting more to, as Caleb was talking about earlier, that Imago Dei. you know, what is it that God has made me to do? How has he made my body to work
That's good.
right in the right way?
That's good.
How about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'd piggyback on that. I think not really in order of importance, but diet, exercise, sleep, stress levels, community, spiritual health, and goals. Wellness, health goals, life goals, whatever it is.
That's good.
Yeah, if you can do all of those at 80%, you're gonna be doing pretty good. That's all you need.
It just takes 80%, guys. That's all it takes, right? So I want to say this, and we'll wrap this up because I know it's getting late. Number one, if you're a caveman and you're not going to one of these two guys, shame on you, right? Here they are. They're on the show. Give them a call. All right, don't give your number because that might get ugly. But if you reach out to us, we'll give you their number. I mean, like, why would you go to anyone else? That's all I'm going to say to start off with. Number two, if like a guy's out there and he's like, man, and maybe you've already answered it just quickly though. It's like, what are like the first steps of stepping into a more healthy place in your life, right? Like if I'm out there right now and I'm like, man, it's time to make a change. Right. Where do I begin? Like, do I start with getting my blood test? All right, I mean, like the things that are unseen versus the things they're seen. All right. Like I'm out of shape. Right. Obviously, like, all right, I want to get my blood test done. I want to get the things that are unseen because the things that are unseen might kill me. Right. Like, is there some tests I need to come run with you guys or some things before I start, going on a vegan diet? Both of these guys are like, no, or a meat diet, a meat diet, or like, do I need to get my levels tested first? I know my exterior. What's my interior? What do y'all say?
It's never too early to make good changes.
Okay, there you go.
Never too early.
I love it.
If you make good changes, all the other stuff outside of some genetic disease or something like that, which primary care is probably going to test first off. The number one step of all those things I just listed, diet's the most important. And yes, all those things are important, and they all will move the needle a little bit. Diet is the highest percentage.
But even diet, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask one thing.
Give me my simple rules. I mean, that's easy.
Yeah.
Are y'all good right now? Are we running too late?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
We'll ask the
I'm
listeners.
awake.
Okay, because diet. All I'm saying here. Look. All I'm saying is diet is again. I think defining your terms are important in any conversation. Right?
Yeah.
We're using the term diet. Not everyone's hearing what we're saying.
All right, yeah, that's
Yeah, I
Is
say
that fair?
nutrition. Yeah, I say nutrition instead of diet.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Because
What's
diet's just
the
such a loaded
distinction?
term. Just because diet's such a loaded term.
Yeah,
I'm not
amen.
trying to get people
I
to
agree with
start
you.
a diet. Right.
Yeah.
What I am trying to get them to do is focus on their nutrition.
Feed your body.
Number one, feed your body real food. Right. Feed real food. There's all kinds of little quips and strategies of what that looks like. But frankly, if it didn't come from some sort of animal walking this earth and it didn't come from a plant that grew out of the ground, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah. And I tell people that all the time. If it grew out of the ground or ate something that grew out of the ground.
But Cheerios says cholesterol. It lowers my
Yes, it does.
Yeah, along with all of the different things that go into it.
Yeah.
The fact that healthy eating is labeled a diet.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
point, Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of it just being the norm.
Philip
Like
coming
it's
from
gotta be.
out of the left wing.
It's got to be something seen as something
So-
other than or extreme.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so elaborate on diet. Both of you seem to think that diet is the most important step in the process.
Yeah.
I know both of you very well in this area. Elaborate on what you would say is a starting point.
If you eat meats, fruits, vegetables, dairy, and eggs, and if you eat good quality of those things and properly sourced of those things, then you're going to be fine. You don't have to do 100% of that. No one's probably going to do 100%. But the things to absolutely avoid are sugars, artificial sugars, processed carbohydrates. So if you
eat the good stuff and not the bad stuff, you're gonna be fine.
And so, in processed carbohydrates, basically things boxed up, bagged up, canned up. If you're looking at I tell people all the time, you got to get used to looking at labels. If you flip that around and start looking at a label, and it's more like a science experiment than it is food that you recognize.
If it don't just say green beans, put it back.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. What is a pound of ground beef? What's the ingredients on that?
Yeah,
Right?
Ground beef.
ground beef.
So,
Yep.
so
If it's anything else,
yeah. And so,
I'm
and when I
very
say
worried.
processed carbohydrates, I'm meaning like breads, pastas, cereals, tortillas, crackers.
And that's because the
fried
food
foods.
world realized there was more money in preserving it because it gives a longer shelf life. Therefore, more things have to go into it to keep it on the shelf longer because in any business, you don't want to be having waste. The more waste you have, the more money you lose.
So more things go into it, but also more things have to come out of it, right?
And-
we lose a lot of fiber, we lose a lot of natural ingredients.
Here's my question.
Bread.
This goes back to the, I think it's orchestrated. Why is the stuff that you have to do more stuff to or add more stuff to the cheapest?
Why?
Yeah.
why is it?
Don't ask
also-
me the question. You're the doctor.
Why is
There's a
it
lot of labor
also
that goes
owned
into
by these same pharmaceutical
Why is that?
companies?
Why is that?
Right.
Why does
People wanna buy cheap
pharmakia,
No,
the same Hebrew word,
Time
or
out.
Greek word
Conversations.
for
No.
sorcery?
Time out. Stop. I want to go back to this question. That's a good point because if I take a piece of sheet metal and I have to clean it extra or I have to
Charge
paint it extra,
Right.
I charge more.
Yep.
So
Yep.
why is it in the process of something I pull more? There's more processes added to it, yet it's more expensive. There has to be something along the process.
I would say because
that-
the stuff that they're adding to it because the original substance was the waste.
diluted.
It was
Correct,
the
and that's all I was
waste
driving at.
from a actual process. So you can get actual fillets, but there's so much of the cow that you don't eat. And if you can ground that up, like
Yep.
the bones
Yep.
and everything,
And sell that,
then
you can sell for
dye
cheaper.
it, and then add a whole bunch of other slop to it, then you can pump that back into your ground beef, right? And there's a limit on how much you can add before you can't call it ground beef, and so they stay underneath that limit, right?
The USDA is very gracious.
Well,
Absolutely.
to your point, it has to be that way because if I'm adding steps, I'm adding labor in the process. Therefore, I have to be expanding the amount of material that I'm selling.
So
Right? If I'm adding labor, I have to be expanding material that I'm selling.
yeah, and I think part of the solution is what you had, or part of the answer to that question is what you had already brought up is where's the loss, right? If you've got a farmer, someone who's running a vegetable farm, right? There's going to be a sort of a determined amount of time that product, that food is going to last, is
Right.
going to make it, right?
Yes.
And so that's going to kind of hold some of that value, or it's going to run up some of the value of that food. Whereas you've got something else that's mass produced and they've also injected tons of things into it, taken things out of it so that it's going to last longer.
Yes.
So even if there's a lot more stuff done to it, it's from a product standpoint, that's going to be a much more stable thing that's going to last in terms of inventory and sellability.
But
Yeah.
the deeper answer to that question is that the more you do, the less value and it gives you.
Right.
Say that again. Expand upon that a little bit.
Just like he's talking about, the more you have to add to the ground beef, the less it becomes like ground beef. The more you have to do to stuff, the more man touches it, processes it, adds stuff to it, the more it becomes glorified dog food. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not human.
Don't be subtle, though.
Yeah.
Please don't be subtle.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm hearing, tell me if I'm wrong, shop local.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say grow as much as you can, right? Slaughter as much as you can. And you know, our goal, we moved to North Georgia 3 years ago. Is that right?
Let's go.
2
You
years
just
ago?
sold
Come
us
on.
out, but thank you. Everybody knows where we live now.
They couldn't tell from before. Anyway, is because we wanted to have a little bit of space to actually grow some food and have some animals, right? I wanted my sons to get closer to their food. I wanted them to
Right.
know more and more where their food
What's the
came from.
importance of that, of bringing your sons closer to your food?
For one, I think
I'm
the
totally starting new
appreciation of it.
conversations. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I think for one, just the appreciation of it, to recognize how much work goes into it, and to truly value it, but to also equip them so that when they have their own families, they're going to be better able to provide that food,
yeah, that's good.
and at the same time, for them to be able to identify what's not food, you know. And don't get me wrong, like we are not pristine when it comes to our eating habits, especially my boys. Every time we heat up corn dogs for them, I'm like, what am I doing?
It's a childhood
But they
staple.
love it. But they love it. But anywho, I think that the closer that we can get to our food and just understand what's going into it, the better we will appreciate what it means to eat good food.
But I think that is pointing to how good our opponents are. The fact that you, with such a strong belief, still heat up a corn dog. And all I'm saying is, I do too.
Right.
What I'm saying is, it's so convenient. And our lifestyles have demanded that we go to convenience, and our opponents have got so good at like shoving this crap down our throats, and it's hard not to do it.
Yeah. I mean, think in your life how many standards get compromised just based on convenience.
So many.
I've said this before. If the apocalypse happens, okay, and we have to grow our own food, everyone's freaking out about getting their medicine. They won't need it.
Right. Because as you grow your own food, you're going to be healthy as I get
It'll
out.
be fine.
Yeah.
Short of like type 1
That's so good.
diabetes or
Right.
genetic disease or
Well,
whatever, you won't need it.
But that's also like the speeding up of our lifestyle, right? We've sped up our lifestyle so much. Like you think
yeah.
back 50, 60, 70 years ago, women, they spent all morning long making breakfast.
Yeah.
And then when you went to work, they spent the next 4 hours preparing for lunch. And then you ate lunch. And then they spent the next 6 hours preparing for dinner.
Well,
Right,
well,
and-
oversimplifying. But
And
yeah.
but my point is like that was the preparation process.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody's like, oh, you don't need that anymore. And I'm like, well, maybe you don't, but you also outsourced it to heat up a corn dog
Yeah.
or heat up a pizza. Or so you've lost some, like you think you don't need it, but do you not need it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I find shocking is, you read through some of these passages in the Old Testament where think about Abram, as he sees the Lord walking up with his two compadres, and he says, "Here, sit here," and he runs in and he tells Sarah like, "Hey, slaughter a calf, bake some bread, right? Do all these.
We
things.
got a lot to talk about.
Like, holy cow! Like I started thinking, like, oh my gosh, how long would that have taken?
Yeah.
Right.
And she was like, slit the neck.
But
skin it.
But at the same time, as you read that, and maybe it's just imagination, but you see such a fervor at the same time.
I don't think so. I think it actually happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. I agree that it actually happened, but I see just such an eagerness.
Oh, yes.
Right to
Yes,
do
sorry.
it. No, it's okay. To be that hospitable, to go that extra mile. I think to myself like, man, if someone shows up to my house, I'd be like, let me see what I got.
I got some frozen pizzas.
But I think that there's just something to, that stepping into what it is that you're doing with your food, both in the cultivating of it and the preparation of it, that really we've lost and we've surrendered it because of convenience.
Amen. And food seems in the biblical sense to have an importance.
Yeah.
Everything that I see when you see people in the Bible fellowshipping, food is involved.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Jesus
for
says, I am the bread of life. Right? If you go back and look at the bread in the Bible, how much essential minerals and vitamins that it had in it. Like there's a reason why he used bread as life.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like it was full of essential minerals. They could live on bread.
Yeah.
Right? Now our bread is, to your point, has been stripped of everything. And it's like,
To
I
us,
would
it's a
die if
foreign
I tried to
concept.
live bread. Yeah, it's a foreign concept. We don't even understand the Bible due to that fact.
But to them they could, and often did
Yes.
for long periods
Amen.
of time.
So good, man.
Awesome. Guys,
So good.
last question. Both of you go. What encouragement or word of counsel or advice would you leave to your brothers, Caveman?
You want to go first?
Ugh.
That's a no.
All right, I'll go first.
How about you go first? Let me think for a second.
You could have just said no.
It's way past my bedtime.
Something that came up during mine and Caleb's conversation, the tribesmen videos that we did, is the idea that every single day, regardless of what your schedule looks like, regardless of what you have to do something hard every single day. I think that there's something about how God has made men that we really tap into who we're created to be as we face adversity, going back to deliberate discomfort, right? And it doesn't have to be something physically hard. It doesn't have to be something mentally hard. It can be any of these things. But to simply approach something, to encounter something, to confront something that is difficult,
Yeah.
that if you didn't do it, your day would go a lot easier, right? But you couldn't say that your day went better.
That's good.
And so I like the idea of, because I run into this at work. There are challenging things that I run into at work. When I come home, I love seeing my wife. I love seeing my boys, kiss them, ask them how their day was. After that, like I really want to do something physical. I want to be outside. I want to have something that I'm working toward. I want to have something that I may not be the best at, right? But I want to do it because it needs to be done, but it's like that next kind of mountain to conquer. And some of these, as I say that, it might sound just overly dramatic. A lot of these things are super mundane if you see me doing them day to day. But to me, it's been so life-giving to say when I go home, I'm going to do something hard.
I love it. Amen.
An example real quick. What is something hard last week you did?
Just, firing up a chainsaw,
Yeah.
moving logs around,
Yeah.
dragging stuff around, sweating my tail off in 90-degree plus weather.
Awesome.
Love it.
That kind of stuff.
Doing a
Cool.
workout at the bottom of a 25-foot pool, something like that.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Awesome.
If you made it this far, congratulations. Good for you.
To
Come
get
full
that
circle.
reference.
That's right, to get that reference.
Nobody has.
Nobody. It's a good thing we do it for us because I just love to get to know you guys.
I doubt our spouses are watching it.
Never.
I
No.
got a feeling my wife will.
What did he say about me?
She loves a good podcast. She'll just listen to
I
the
love it.
podcast for like 3 hours.
Amen to that.
Dude.
My wife is.
I told my wife
She'll
last
listen
week,
to
not to
every
cut you
single
off. I told my wife, I was like, dude, I don't even care if we video this. I'm having a great time just getting
one.
to
In
know
fact,
people.
shout out to
Yeah,
my
like,
wife.
just
I love
100%.
you. You're awesome. Super sexy.
My answer to that question, I will echo what I said earlier about it starts with a discipline, okay? And it is the deliberate discomfort to obtain that discipline of, I'll tie it back to health, but of the being physically healthy. So when those hard things happen, you're able to accomplish a task. Being spiritually healthy, being emotionally and mentally healthy. Because when you don't have those building blocks, you're not able, you're open the door for failure. You're open the door for the enemy to attack. And so you don't have to be the best at everything. That's the whole point of the Caveman Combine.
Yeah.
Literally, no one comes to the Caveman and they're the best at every event there. Right. I mean, someone, you may be good at a couple things. You're going to fail at other things. That's the whole point, to expose weakness. And so to expose weakness, to improve yourself, to harden yourself, because hard times will come, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually.
That's good.
And if you are not healthy in those categories, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's my take.
Yeah.
That's good. So Daniel usually wraps it up, but I'm going to wrap it up this week. And the reason I'm going to wrap it up this week is I want to say, and I'm serious about this, like part of the Caveman Combine is building a community of men. And part of building a community of men is supporting men in their field that are good at what they do. Right? I truly believe that that's part of building a community. Right? These two men are excellent at what they do. If you're somebody out there that you need help in these areas, these are two excellent physicians that you can reach out to us. We'll put you in point of contact with these guys. And until next time, we'll see you next week on the Caveman Combine.
Awesome.
Sorry, I wanted to wrap it up with that.
That's good.